cheese curds, funnel cakes, popsicles, and other frozen treats, as well as vegan fare, gluten-free options, and an assortment of global cuisines. Some participating vendors include Twisted Plants, Jamaican, Say Cheese, Tots on the Street, and more. Additional participants will be announced at a later date.
This was the news update on 1017 The Truth. The Tori Lowe Show is next here on the new 1017 The Truth.
We need each other.
That's facts.
I need my sisters. I need my brothers out here.
A coward dies 1,000 deaths, and for all the bootlickers, may you die 1,001.
The place for the realest conversations.
Tori Lowe, want all the action? Or you want all the smoke? Oh, I'm with all that smoke too, man.
I done seen Ron Johnson. He trash. Chisholm is trash. How the hell you here to help us and your kids are dying in the street?
I understand that this is Milwaukee and everyone believes that if someone say something, it's snitching. It's not.
I don't care if it's the past. If you see the pastor ain't acting right, you check that fool. Where's the results?
Talking topics that need to be highlighted and discussed in our communities.
Would you trade places with a black person?
Yeah, sure, no, I would not.
Have you ever said the N-word? Come on, be the truth. We on the truth.
Unfiltered and unfazed. This is the Tori Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
The reason I believe the racism is getting worse is because whites know that they will be outnumbered in about 20 to 21 years. They're going to be outnumbered.
Hey, Tori, man. How are you doing, brother? I'm actually from India. We brown people can totally relate with you. Sometimes it's like, did that just happen to me?
We have to not let the government mind us either.
That cop ain't never been brought to the public because he ain't normal and he may not even exist no more.
Say no more. Release the video.
You know, you keep on doing what you're doing, man. You're going to take over this talk radio, man. Just keep on focusing on what you're focusing on. I wish you a lot of love.
God bless you, brother.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Tori Lowe.
Justice Wisconsin, the truth. The most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM. The movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. It's Tori Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4, we about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice, we want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Yeah. Tori Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready.
1017 The Truth. Tori Lowe. Tori Lowe Show, live from American Family Insurance Studio downtown at the Avenue. The movement continues.
The marathon continues.
The marathon continues right here on 101.7 FM, The Truth. Hey, how you doing, DJ Brother Z?
It's Wednesday.
How y'all doing out there in Radio Land, Truth Nation? Hey, thank you for joining me this Wednesday, May 17, 2023. And, you know, we got a lot to unpack today. So I'm going to need Truth Nation to open up your arms, okay? We got a powerful 2 o'clock hour coming up. And so and I got my question for today, but I'm going to wait to 2 o'clock. So I'm going to need y'all to listen in. I need Truth Nation to be ready to answer some of these questions. Now, there's a situation that's going on. And I just thought when I saw the situation, it just made me shake my head. There's a story going on right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 3 people accused of beating a Milwaukee boy who used a credit card to order food. Now these people are being charged for child abuse and allegedly beating this young boy after he used his grandmother's credit card to order food. Now I'll say this. Now, if the boy is ordering food, he has to be either hungry or he wants, maybe wants something to eat. And I don't, I can see where the anger comes from, where maybe he took the grandmother's credit card without her knowing, and used it to order some food. But when you hear this story, it just makes you shake your head. It's just a bad look. And when we talk about these young people and what's going on with these young people and the things that they're up against, this story right here just kind of makes me just wonder, like, could they have taken another approach? Because now these people are facing jail time because this young child ordered a food item. They don't say what food item. I didn't hear what food item, but what can you order? Like DoorDash pizza? I mean, the most he could have spent was what? $40? Maybe? I don't know, but let's listen to the Fox 6 News article on this.
Beat a young boy so severely he needed medical attention. 2 defendants are already in court. Jason Calvi live and says Milwaukee police still looking for a third, Jason?
Yeah, that's right, Ted. One of the family members is still on the loose. I need to warn you, the details of this case are disturbing.
State of Wisconsin versus Linda Robin.
3 Milwaukee adults face these charges.
You're charged with physical abuse of a child as party to a crime.
Prosecutors say it happened on Milwaukee's north side earlier in May. A young boy used his grandmother's credit card to order food. After she found out, the criminal complaint says a series of family members beat the boy. Investigators allege his teenage sister hit him with a metal purse strap. Then they say the grandmother's daughters, 34-year-old Linda Robinson and 44-year-old Althedria Robinson, hit the boy with a belt. The next day, prosecutors allege the grandmother's son, 30-year-old Keithan Robinson, punched the boy. Child abuse pediatricians at the Child Advocacy Center found the boy had bruises all over his body. The 2 women were already in court, and a Milwaukee County Court Commissioner found probable cause.
I mean, you have no criminal history.
She released both women on a signature bond.
Your lack of a criminal history. I will set a signature bond in this case. I find it's appropriate based on the totality of the circumstances.
The third defendant, Keithan, wasn't in court. The court commissioner ordered an arrest warrant.
He killed my uncle right here in cold blood.
Back in 2021, 2 of the defendants spoke to Fox 6 about their uncle, who was killed in a hit and run crossing a Milwaukee road.
If convicted, each of these 3 family members could face up to 6 years behind bars. Live in Milwaukee, Jason Calvi, Fox 6.
Hey, look, I just, was there another way? Or, sometimes the anger, when somebody doing something, I'm for, making sure that the children are disciplined. I'm for that. But was there a way to do this without seeming like, if you listen to the story and the story sounds like different family members heard what took place at different times and decided to inflict a certain amount of energy on this young child. But I'll tell you this, it's interesting that when this article comes out, they say that they beat this kid over food, over ordering food. Now, we all know, it's a little bit deeper than that he probably took the card. He probably didn't have permission. He probably wanted to order something, a food item. He went through with it, and that's a no-no in most families. In most families, that's a no-no. But now these 3 adults are facing jail time, serious jail time, child abuse charges. Once they put them child abuse neglect charges on you, the state gonna come for you, and ain't no telling how that's gonna end up. I mean, I deal with so many people that tell me that the state then took their kids. Then I listen to the story. I'd be like, okay, well, tell me what happened. And after I hear what happened sometimes, I can see why the state took the kid. Sometimes. Other times, I don't see why the kid is not at home. But this situation just made my stomach turn. And I don't know, maybe the adults, if y'all listening, anybody know the situation that can call in and try to see what took place, because there's always a couple sides to the story. But the bruises, and if the kid had to go to the hospital, if the kid actually had to go to the hospital for his injuries, that's neglectful. Y'all, I understand the anger for the taking the grandma's credit card, but I'm gonna tell you this: it ain't worth all of what you got to go through now. But if you look at these kids out here and you see the things and the problems, that's why I say, when I bring the kids in, are we listening to the youth and what they going through? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a lot going on, and it's not as simple as listen to me. Tell these kids, listen to me and stop. You know, some of y'all want to get out here in these schools and get this one big powerhouse motivational speech and think that the kid going to change their life. And y'all don't understand, to help children, you got to be involved. You got to be very consistent. You got to be consistent, and you got to be a consistent presence when it comes to dealing with the youth. And sometimes that's tough. Sometimes we have things in our lives that's going on where may lead to some inconsistencies when it deals with the babies. But there's no excuse. There's never any excuse for abuse in any form. And leaving children to be hospitalized and bruises all over the place. I mean, could there have been another way? Could the family have gotten together and decided on a different way to deal with this? I would love to know how much money did he spend on the card, because they're making it seem like, well, I don't know what the food item was, but like he got the card and ordered food. Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, he either ordered a pizza or he ordered something from Grubhub or something like that. So let's say he did Uber Eats or something like that. I mean, you know they charge for the driver, so that's about $12 off the top. Then let's say the pizza is like $17 or whatever. The most you're going to probably spend on eating out for one person off of Grubhub, depending on what you get, is probably $40, $45 tops. Now these people are facing fines up to $10,000 for this situation. And they're definitely going to get maybe some parole out of it if they don't have any other crimes that were committed. Hey, this just makes me sick to my stomach when I see these things in the news. Because the food, talking about these people beat the boy over the food, it just looks bad. Especially after the car crash where 5 people died, the 1-year-old baby died. That family is going through some things, and the community is trying to rally around that family. Now we got this situation with the family that's going on with another family, with a young boy maybe starving a little bit. Oh, I don't even know if he was starving. Maybe he just wanted to have some food while he was playing his video games. Maybe he was in the back playing video games. I don't know.
Regardless, I don't think it requires, to be beaten.
It doesn't. That's what I'm saying. The neglect. Could there have been a different strategy to handle this? Well, when we come back, we'll be joined in studio by Tony Smith from Homer and Tony from 2 to 4. Truth Nation, stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
And that's Tory Lowe, bringing you all the action and all the smoke. Don't touch that dial. The Tory Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth this Saturday at 11 for another episode of Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Entrepreneurship Connection show powered by Molson Coors. I'll be joined by representatives from the African American Chamber of Commerce in Wisconsin and Associated Bank, where we discuss the financial and technical needs of small business in Milwaukee. Again, that's the Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Entrepreneurship Connection show powered by Molson Coors this Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
On the Rocks premium cocktails offer modern twists on the classic cocktails. Developed by award-winning mixologists, the On the Rocks cocktails combine premium spirits and natural ingredients. Wherever you are, On the Rocks premium cocktails give you the convenience of bar-quality cocktails created with brands that you know and trust, like the Effin' Cosmopolitan and Hornitos Margarita. Pour over ice and enjoy. Please drink responsibly. On the Rocks ready-to-serve cocktails, 20 to 35% alcohol by volume.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Telly Hughes with his truth.
I have a question. Besides athletes and entertainers, who do our black and brown youth have to look up to? Who are the influencers and role models our adolescents strive to become? Because we all know there are no more Cosby shows or any other medium that drives home what a successful black household looks or operates like. Seeing is believing, but if there's a lack of positive portrayals of black men, then the unsubstantiated stereotypes will continue to be perpetuated and played out in society and social media. The absence of mainstream positive black male role models put our black and brown youth in a peculiar spot because they haven't been properly trained on what it takes to become a productive citizen, nor have they had the luxury of being exposed to the process. Like it or not, we all are influencers in some form or fashion, whether it's recognized by the public or just your immediate family and friends. We all must be cognizant of the moves we make because there's always someone watching, which in essence make you an influencer. Take that responsibility, put it near and dear to your heart, and no matter how hard the struggle may get, continue to lift as you climb. I am ready to take on that responsibility. Are you?
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Top on the 6th Street, fly in my ops, see the envy me, passing it off like CP3. Shawty, she calling me MVP. I be on time, it's something you ain't never seen before. They call me the Dama, really want my whole team to score. Yeah, too icy, yeah, too clean, yeah, my zone, yeah, 2-3.
1017 The Truth, Tory Lowe Show. Tony Smith from Homer and Tony joining me in the studio.
What up?
From ESPN 94.5.
Yep, and I was listening on the way in. I was like, whoa, what's going on here with this story?
With the young man that got
crazy
severely beaten.
Yeah.
From purchasing food items from Granny's credit card.
Right.
Unknowing to Granny.
Yeah, that's not a good situation. So when I was listening to it, I was thinking, first thing I was thinking was like why? Like, how? Like, why would the kid think that he could take the credit card? You know what I'm saying? I don't know why that ever entered his mind that was okay to do. It just seems...
So you see, the kid may have been problematic.
I don't know that because I'm thinking like, okay, obviously the only thing I can do when I'm looking at this situation is I can draw my own experience as a kid. And first thing I'm thinking, ain't no way. First of all, I ain't going in nobody's purse. I ain't touching nobody's stuff like that. Not a grown-ups. Not when I'm a little kid. I ain't gonna do it. Never would have crossed my mind. Now, I obviously understand also that I'm not everybody. There's other different people out there. You and I are discussing in between the breaks that, what you would do, or my kid wouldn't do this because he's already knows that. But that's being you. We got some sense right now. So we don't know what the upbringing was. We don't know what led the kid to be able to do that. And we don't know what he's been taught. So clearly, it wasn't enough to prevent him from doing this, which is pretty bad. Like when you think of I heard you saying, he ordered food, but like you said, it does go deeper than that.
Right.
It's like you're basically stealing from somebody. You're stealing from a family member, an elderly family member. You're violating her, going in her stuff, using her card. You don't know what her credit card situation
and maybe
is.
grandma was hurt.
Right, and you don't know what it is. So this goes deeper than that. And this is what is probably infuriating the parents or the grown-ups in the family, that this is you gonna do this to grandma? What?
Right.
You gonna violate her like this and just take advantage of her, or whatever they were thinking, right? But then comes a problem from them. They don't know how to properly channel that energy, right? They don't know what to do with it. And is it because this kid is problematic before and he had problems with him before? Because what I was thinking is because when I asked you, I'm like, what if your kid don't listen? You said, I'll make him do some push-ups, right?
I did the military style.
Right. Make him do push-ups. And then what did I ask you? I was like, what if he don't do? What if he say, no, I ain't doing the push-ups?
I said, but you gotta train him.
He ain't gonna do that because like you said, he been trained.
He been trained to do that. You got to be consistent with the discipline.
But we all know everybody's not like that. So there are kids out there who will disobey, and then you try to discipline whatever that discipline, and they're not hearing
All I'm saying is you can't just come in like the disciplinarian and be inconsistent
and I get that.
and expect the child to just lay down.
But I'm also
and
saying,
you're not the primary disciplinarian.
Kids at a young age can get pretty unruly, right? So
I agree.
Now my question is, as a parent, what tools are out there? What options are out there for them? They got a kid like that. Like, okay, this kid won't listen for anything, no matter what I do, because we don't want to go to we're in the age of you don't put the hands on the kid now. You put them in the timeout.
Well, if you want 2 white women and 5 police officers to show up at your door,
that's what I'm saying. That's
that's today.
Right. So you got to do something else.
Yeah.
In today's age. So my question is what are the parents tools? What do they do? Is there some place they say, hey, I can't control this kid, I need help with it?
Unfortunately,
what am I going to do?
I'm gonna say no.
Right. So,
because
I'm saying,
just saying.
You see that what situation that puts a parent in? Like, I got somebody in my house that won't listen, and they're like 8 years old. Like, you ain't listening at 8, 10 years old. Like, that's a problem. Like, if you ain't listening at 8 and 10, wait till you get 14, 15, where you can actually do something.
Well, I spoke on this a long time ago.
Okay.
These kids are in a situation where if they have a problem with the parent, they can go to the school and tell the teacher.
Correct.
And if the teacher have a problem with the kid, they'll call the parent. And if the parent disciplines the student, they can go back to school and tell that same teacher that I got beat, and then CPS showing up.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying. Where's the help for the parent? They ain't got none. And then you get in this, and that's where you get in a situation where the just frustration boils over.
But we
know you ain't got to do
you
that.
Can leave licks.
But I'm also
you can leave licks without putting severe bruises on them.
You 100% can. And like I was saying, my impression of probably what went on is that it just got out of control. Like, you lost your mind for a second, and you maybe one hit too hard because maybe you are frustrated. Maybe the kid is. It may be boiled over on
maybe
one
the kid is hard headed too.
Maybe the kid is hard headed, right? So there's a lot of factors that could be in there. And again,
that's why I say I wish somebody.
I'm not justifying any of this.
Well, that's why I say I wish somebody closer to the situation. Feel free to call in and try to explain, kind of give more context.
Right.
Because when you see the headlines, kid gets beaten because he wanted to eat some food.
Right, yeah, it doesn't look right.
It's got to be more context.
Yeah, and it probably is. But like I'm saying, I'm just saying that, right, A, you shouldn't do what they did. You ain't got to beat the child that severely. But B, where's the help for some parents if they run out of options on what to do with a kid like that?
I mean, sometimes people try to get mentorship programs involved. They'll try to find something to where they can put the child into that's a lot consistent to where they can actually grow into the discipline. because many times children react a certain way because the discipline is absent.
Right.
And then when they see the neglect or when the kid starts lashing out, then they want to apply the discipline at that time. And you're gonna have to you gotta have to either start peeling back the onion and taking it one day at a time and resetting that child and giving him a more consistent discipline type setting, or he's gonna always rebel because he's not getting the discipline or she's not getting the discipline.
Yeah, it's got to be, like I said, it's got to be a better way, but
we're going to take a
sometimes
call.
Parents need help.
Black Conscious is on the lines. Black Conscious, what do you think about this situation with the kid buying the food and ended up going to the hospital, resulting in family members being charged with child neglect?
Well, I'd like to first start off with saying knowledge of self and good health, and this is a classic case of child abuse. Here's why. My grandson did something to me, but it was like $80 on Facebook doing this PlayStation, not Facebook, Xbox crap. He ordered a lot of stuff. I didn't think to go beat the kid. Instead, I put him to work. You're going to work off this money that you charged me. The problem is, we hurt people. For those individuals that had a tragic incident happen, what was that, months and years before?
In 2021. Uncle got killed due to a hit and run.
Okay, knowing the importance of life and how it makes you feel when life is taken, they could have beat that kid to his life ended. Now, you know the uncle is knowing it was wrong because now he's on the run and now his life messed up. But you have damaged that child for years to come and possibly taken away from a home. Apparently the kid was hungry. Okay, he made the wrong decision. And true to what you said, he couldn't have ordered a lot, but not to this degree. Now, we need to get out of that slave mentality where we beat our kids thinking we're beating some into them.
Some sense into them. That's what they say. I'm going to beat some sense into you.
He's going to find a different way. He's just going to be a little bit more sneakier. So that's not it. They would have been, I just think they was overboard with it. It went way too far.
It was overboard, but Black Conscious, let me ask you this. So you said it happened to you and you put him to work. What if he said, I ain't doing no work?
He doesn't have that option.
What if he takes that option, though?
Well, no, you don't give him that option.
But this is what we're talking about. I'm asking about, like, for kids who aren't going to listen. Like, oh, I'm trying to discipline you. Like, go sit in a timeout in the corner. I'm not doing no timeout.
Timeout don't work for black children.
I mean,
that's not us. That's not us. So here's what I'm saying. Then if that's not, you don't want to take it, then you take things that he finds close to his heart and he loves away from him. And we have to just stand on that. We got whoopings, but it never killed us, but we knew not to do that no more. Not to the point where it take 3 people to whoop you, to the point where you're getting punched, because that's going beyond, that's something else.
Right. That's abuse.
That goes beyond a discipline of a child. When you got to physically assault him with your hand, you move into another realm in that case.
All right. Hey, thank you, Black Conscious, for tapping in. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate the tap in. Hey, look, when we come back, we'll have the Pop Culture Report with Melanie Ricks. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
More of the Tory Lowe Show is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
It's the Tori Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. It's time to see what's poppin' with Melanie Ricks.
1017 The Truth. Tori Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the 1 and 2s. Pop Culture Report. Brought to you by Melanie Ricks in the building.
I'm done with Zach.
Tony Smith joins us.
Said,
don't beat your kids.
From Homer and Tony.
Please don't beat your
on
kids.
ESPN 94.5.
Just saying. Just closing out
from
the
2 to 4.
No, that's fair. That's always a conversation. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that though, Tori.
No.
Hey.
So, Tony, I wanted to come on here. You know, anytime you're on Wednesdays, I got to hit the listeners with the sports pop culture report.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, there seems to be a, what do we want to call it? An epidemic.
Scapegoating.
Oh, you want to call it that? I was gonna call it an epidemic.
Same thing. We got a scapegoat epidemic. Yeah, the same thing.
So, if y'all have not heard yet, Doc Rivers is the latest coach on the chopping block in the NBA.
He gone. No, he's off. He's now off the chopping block. He's been chopped.
Oh, you're right. That's true.
He's been chopped.
You're right.
He's done.
Correct. Sorry. So it's Nick Nurse.
Yep.
Coach Bud. Now Doc Rivers.
Yep.
And who else am I missing?
The Phoenix Suns.
Coach, Phoenix,
yep.
thank you. Monty Williams.
There's a couple more too. But
and there's some more, but from the playoffs.
Yeah.
What does this mean? What does this tell you? Are you surprised by all of these things? I mean, these are all championship caliber teams in theory.
Yep.
So I get the business side of it, but what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not surprised because this is what happens. In sports, you got to look at if you're an owner, right, for an organization, I got to look at, okay, I got the coaches and I got the players. Something went wrong here, right? Obviously, you know, there's some coaches out there making good money, but they ain't making what the players are making, especially those who are responsible for the loss, which are the star players. So when you have the star players making $20, $30, $40 million, and you got a coach on the high end, let's say $4 or $5 million a year, just off of money alone, who am I going to replace? I don't replace that $4 million
Absolutely.
dude. Not to mention, if we look around the world or the country, who is there more of? Is there more of a Budenholzer, or is there more Giannis's out there that I can go get? If I want to get rid of somebody.
There is exactly one Giannis.
Right. So there's a lot of other Budenholzers I can go get. As a matter of fact, you just mentioned a couple guys who are on the same level, right? So there's going to be a bunch of those out there I can go get. I can throw him away. And what that does is that puts the blame on somebody, so I can tell my fans, okay, we got rid of the problem. Things are going to be different here. When he's not really the problem. Bud's not really the problem. He's just the easiest scapegoat to make the problem, to get your fan base back in your graces. Like, we made changes. We didn't just run it back with everybody we had. We got a new guy leading the show. So now things are going to be different this year. We're going to come back in. We got a new guy coaching us, and we're going to be back, right? So that's why you see coaches get fired all the time. I mean, Doc Rivers, obviously, he's won the championship. He's been coach of the year before. He's been fired a bunch of times, though.
Yes, he has.
From a lot of teams. And they want to talk about his record in Game 7s and when they're up in the playoff series.
Which is a horrible stat to read before Game 7.
I mean, a 3-2 lead is not a huge lead. It's a one-game lead.
Exactly.
So, and then you got guys like you say, like Nick Nurse, Bud. Man, these guys have been around. Bud just won a championship a couple years ago. Now suddenly he's the problem. I don't get it with the coaches, but my thing anyway, when we talk about teams, I don't give coaches a lot of credit, nor do I give them a lot of blame when things go wrong. I'm going to blame the superstars. I look at Doc's team and what happened. Like, why was James Harden good one game, bad the next game?
Right.
That seemed like the problem. They didn't change the way they play. You had 45 one game. You had 42 another game. But then you come with 18.
I mean, no offense,
then you
Tony.
come with nothing. I mean, it's like, come on, dude. You got to be consistent.
But this is a pattern, which is ironic that you say consistent. This is a pattern with James Harden. So they knew what they were getting with him, but you could also argue they knew what they were getting with Doc. So
right, but
okay,
but again,
so
you're supposed to be the guy. But that James Harden is the second player. Joel Embiid is the league MVP.
So do you expect him to go off for 40?
Where are you at, Embiid, when your team needs you?
Oh yeah, I feel that. What are y'all?
Well, I think it was Game 6. You didn't even touch the ball in the last 4 minutes of the game. Bro, you're an MVP of the league. You ain't touching the ball.
Does he think he's that guy, though? They may think he's that guy, but does he believe that?
I don't know what he's doing, but just like I told people when they were talking about Giannis was saying, oh, I wanted to guard Jimmy, but Coach wouldn't let me. Nah, I'm not taking that. Bro, you got to step up. You got to say, no, Coach, I got him. Coach Bud ain't going to say no. If you say I got him, Coach Bud going to say, okay. Go right ahead.
Whoever wants to, take on that assignment.
If Giannis wants to take it on, Giannis is going to take it on.
Well, I think
I agree.
Pat Connaughton ain't going to say, I got Jimmy. Coach will say, no, you're not. You're going to go sit down. But
now,
if Giannis says, I got Jimmy, and Bud didn't initially say that, Bud going to say, okay.
But hold
so
on.
I was going to say, okay.
Hold on, but you still had a Drew Holiday on him.
Right.
And so I think it's a
Drew,
little bit more complicated than just saying Coach
is a defensive player.
Correct.
But Drew's getting cooked that day. It's not his day. Every day is not every player's day. Just like you see, look at the shooters for the Bucks. They were missing. Look at Golden State. Missing shots. Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters ever. He's just missing shots. It ain't your day today, bro. So, all right, we're going to pass it on to somebody else that day. Or that game, at least, right? We'll come back next game, and you can do it. You can do your work.
I think that with me, my only issue with the Bucks this year is that in the playoffs, when it came to the last 4 minutes of the game, it just kind of collapsed this year in the playoffs. And it was consistent. The collapse was consistent every game. And we can almost we as fans can feel it coming. And I think that is that a coaching thing, or is that when it's that consistent like that?
When you say you can feel it coming, I don't understand.
Like you can see, in the last 4 minutes of the game, there was nobody that was like, "Hey, I'm finna take over. I'm finna hold this
for
lead
Philly
for the Bucks."
Oh,
I'm talking about
in Game 5.
I'm talking about just during the playoffs.
So who's supposed to do that?
Giannis.
Somebody, yes.
Giannis,
right?
Number one. Who else?
Chris. Drew.
And Drew. That's your top three guys.
Yep.
Y'all got to play, man. This is my point.
And that's what I'm saying.
This is what I'm talking about. You got to go out there and play. At some times in the game, now I played with Magic Johnson, Hall of Famer. I played with Charles Barkley, Hall of Famer.
Damn.
I've seen these dudes go, Coach, I heard I'm the point guard. I'm playing with these dudes. I see Coach call a play. He's telling me to run something. I look over, I get ready to run it, and I see Barkley down there waving me, giving the ball. Like, I'm sorry, Coach. I'm giving bro the ball. He asked for the ball, Coach. If you want to yell at somebody, yell at him, which he ain't going to do. This is my point. When you are the guy in the team and you demand the ball or you demand an assignment,
you get it.
Coach is going to respect it.
I mean,
he ain't
Jimmy
gonna say
said
a word.
That's what he did.
Jimmy changed the place.
Yes,
Bolster
he
was
did.
running him as a
Yes, he
decoy. He
did.
said, no, Drew is going to trail me, bro. I'm going to be open. Run it for me.
And
This
it
is what I'm
worked.
telling you. They're going to listen to their stars. Coaches ain't dumb. Just like I said, they're more disposable than the star player is. That's why they know. They know that if I do something and I tell the star player no, it's going to be my head.
Yep.
Now,
100%.
do we get one of these coaches that was fired from these other teams?
Yes.
Do you want
Who
one
else?
of them?
Who else you going to get?
Do you want one of them?
If you don't get a coach who's been fired before, you're going to get somebody who's new. So, do you want a new coach,
No.
or do you want an experienced coach?
What does new mean, though? New to the NBA?
No, new as a head coach.
Oh. So do you think,
Because
though?
there's assistants out
Right,
there
right,
who
right.
have been assistants and never been a head coach.
And they're
so
now
that's going to be a new head coach.
They are reporting that there are some assistants, Charles Levy
Yep,
and one of
yep,
them,
they're
who
talking to
are
assistants.
talking to the Bucks right now. Tony, how do you feel about that? Because obviously we see the success right now over in LA with Darvin Ham.
Right, and again, I don't blame coaches like that. So when the coaches get fired, to me, it doesn't mean you did a bad job. It's just that I know that team wants to make a change, and
Yep.
this is the easiest change to
Correct.
make. So
I feel that.
I'm cool with that. Right, those coaches are still good coaches. Bud, Nurse, Doc, these are still good coaches. Right, they've been to the highest pinnacle, and teams they get a team that's expected to win, and then they don't do it for too many years in a row, then they're gonna be expendable. But they're still a good coach. I heard rumors about Mark Jackson. I love Mark Jackson. I thought Mark Jackson got a bad deal because of some off court stuff that was going on when he was running a Golden State team. But he really the one who got that team started on the run that they were on. He was at the head of that. Yeah. Oh, he 100% was at the head of that. Then he got fired, and then they still went off running, but they were under a different coach.
Right.
So I like him. Like I say, any of those coaches are going to be pretty much the same. When it comes down to it, when game time, players got to do it. They got to handle their business.
Okay. And this is the thing. I always tell people in business, it's only business. If you disappoint and the expectations are high, heads are going to roll.
100%.
This is what happens.
Something's got to change.
And this is why I always tell people with our community, like, you got to change the philosophy sometimes. If you got high expectations, all they're going to do is take the same players and get a different philosophy on top of these players.
Maybe. Don't even know if they're going to change philosophy. You don't know what they're going to change. But the
Well,
appearances,
each coach,
the
yeah.
appearance is that there's going to be change because they got a new coach.
Right. But each coach has his own style.
Right. Well, but like I say, like no one's game is going to change. Giannis ain't going to play different. Giannis going to play like Giannis plays.
Maybe he bring in some people.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to have to bring in some roster players. No question
Every
about that.
head coach has players they got connections with.
Yeah.
That understand their system.
The only potential you have for some change is that if they bring a coach in who's got a new system. So if the Bucks are running a different system, now the players are still going to be who the players are.
Right.
But if they're running in a different system, it might, and I say might, it might help some, might hurt some others. Like everybody can't play in every system.
In your opinion, are there 30, like, is it ever possible to have 30 different systems, if you understand what I'm saying, every coach having their own unique, or no? Do you think there are some similarities?
And they don't have a lot because there's too many coaching trees where guys are been under the same coach.
Popovich
right?
being one of the trees.
Right. So they got a lot. They got a lot of the same verbiage, and they got a lot of the same. Well, first of all, there's only a limited number of actions. It's just like you think in football, right? As a receiver, right? You're gonna run a go route. Everybody's got a go route. Somewhere in there, everybody's got a slant. Everybody's got a curl, a hook. Right. Everybody's got the same stuff. Same thing. Everybody's running pick and roll. That's what you see 80% of the time on plays, pick and roll. Unless you got a guy who's a shooter. Now you see some screens. This guy running off screens. But Like for the Bucks, what do you see? You see Giannis getting the ball at the free throw line, turning, facing up, trying to go one-on-one, or you see Middleton try to do a little isolation, Drew try to do a little isolation. Everybody else, they're just waiting for their turn to catch the ball.
And speaking of Greg Popovich, they got the number one
Yes,
pick.
they did.
Yep. Wembanyama.
How y'all feel about
Going
it?
to San Antonio.
I think it's a coincidence because they got Tim Duncan, David Robinson. Now they got the number one pick this year that's over 7'4".
It's giving one for every generation.
Right.
You know how you say generational player? They got one for every generation. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
Literally.
I thought that was a coincidence.
It is, but there's no such thing, Tori.
But the problem is to be in that position, they had to stink, which
Or
they
is
did. You know what I'm saying? They were terrible this year, so that's the only reason you're in this position. So,
did they do it on purpose?
Being bad ain't no fun. Ain't no fun. No, they had a bunch of new players. They knew where
gray area.
they knew where they were, and at some point, I said I don't think they did it on purpose, because I've been in there and people are too competitive to lose on purpose. They just are.
In the draft is random, so you know what I mean. Like,
I'll tell you who may do it on purpose sometimes. Is ownership. Ownership don't care. They'll be like, you know what? I know you
tank the season.
Not necessarily tank the season, but they'll do stuff like this. Like, I know this this young player that I just drafted, he ain't playing enough. And you got this veteran playing who's a better player and is a veteran. Tell everybody, I want to play the young dude.
Give him the
Get the young
experience.
dude in there. Yes, get the young dude in there because that's who we drafted. That's who I wanted. I want him in there. I want him playing. They'll do stuff like that. Or you'll be like, at the end of the year, if you wasn't getting no playing time and y'all ain't going nowhere, yeah, hey, sit those old guys down. We already know what they can do. We don't need to see them. I want to get the young guys some experience, and I want to see what they can do because I want to know if I want to sign them again.
Start building for next year.
Well, I got to see what I got.
Right.
Because this season's over. There's no need for me to – why you want to play aging players 38 minutes a game? You don't. You don't need to, especially if you're planning on bringing them back, right? So don't need to wear them out.
Does this increases San Antonio's chance to get to the championship in the next 3 years?
Oh, in the future, yes.
The next 3 years. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what he's going to be.
Right.
Obviously, he's got a lot of talent, but you know, the Thunder have Chet Holmgren from last year.
Will he be
same
back
type
this
of
season,
player.
though?
He should be back this
Okay.
year, but he got hurt right away.
Yes, he
because he
did.
wasn't physically ready. Wembanyama looks very thin and very similar to Chet. So
But he's been working. We know this.
He has been working, but everybody works. It's a
Fair.
different thing when you get up in the league. It's a man's league. It's rough up there. So you got to come with it.
He looked like Bobo.
He do. He's skinny, but
This is the most hyped draft prospect since LeBron.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah?
this dude's off the charts. I seen him.
Maybe
go.
Zion. Maybe
I seen
Zion.
him go. He's ridiculous. Zion's was like Barkley. I don't know if y'all peeped Charles Barkley back in the day. Probably not, but Barkley wasn't no joke.
Zion don't got the mental toughness as Charles Barkley.
He also lives in a different time.
It's a different time.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He nowadays you ain't really got to be that tough.
Oh, Tony.
You don't.
Hey,
You
look,
don't.
we going to run the break. When we come back, we'll have more Pop Culture Report with Melanie Ricks. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
The Tory Lowe Show returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune in to the new 1017 The Truth Community Spotlight this Wednesday at 3:57 p.m. between The Tory Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. We will be speaking with Mason Johnson, a soon-to-be graduate and student athlete at MATC, and Courtney Kelly, Special Projects Coordinator in Recruitment for MATC. They both will discuss the incredible opportunities students have at MATC. So again, that is the Community Spotlight with MATC this Wednesday at 3:57 p.m. on the new 1017 The Truth.
All Brewers games are on sale now, including a Memorial Day weekend showdown with the Giants, Thursday, May 25th through Sunday, the 28th. Start the long weekend right at Aloha Friday on the 26th and get a Brewers Hawaiian shirt with a special ticket package. Then take home a Christian Yelich patriotic jersey giveaway on Saturday, the 27th, presented by Chevrolet. Get your seats at Brewers.com.
On Thursday, May 18th, join Sharp Literacy for the 8th annual Unwrap Milwaukee fundraising event from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at The Gauge. Unwrapped is an evening of community, creativity, and food, where top area chefs will create gourmet appetizer, entree, and dessert bites using McDonald's ingredients. The fundraiser will support Sharp's STEAM-based educational program, serving thousands of urban elementary students in 50 Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine schools. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
Sunday, May 21st, marks the third annual Goosey's Hunt for the Cure 5K Run Walk for Huntington's disease, honoring Chris Guzikowski after being diagnosed. The foundation was created by his family with the mission of eradicating the HD gene, with proceeds helping families affected by the incurable disease described as a blend of Parkinson's, ALS, and Alzheimer's. Google GUZI Hunt. That's GUZI Hunt to register or make a monetary donation. See you there.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Tori Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. It's time to see what's poppin' with Melanie Ricks.
1017 The Truth, Tori Lowe Show. Pop Culture Report with Melanie Ricks.
What's good?
And we joined by Tony Smith.
What's happening?
Hey.
So we got about 3 minutes left, so we got to give an update on Ja Morant. As you know, he was caught for a second time on IG Live flashing his pistol, and now he has been suspended from all Memphis Grizzlies activities. Sorry, that was my phone. He put out a statement yesterday, so this is our update for you. Quote, "I know I've disappointed a lot of people who have supported me. This is a journey, and I recognize there is more work to do. My words may not mean much right now, but I take full accountability for my actions.
Again?
I'm committed to continuing to work on myself," end quote. And can I just
Did
say,
he say again in there?
He did not.
Oh,
I know,
okay.
right? But can I just tell you something that I thought was a little ironic and funny? You know how there's all this conversation about AI? Shannon Sharp said he thinks that he used Chat GPT to write that. He was like, I don't even think he really wrote that.
Right.
But anyway.
I don't think he wrote it either.
Of course he didn't. It's his PR. But anyway.
PR team.
So, you know, I got to be very honest, because Story, you did ask me, and I'm going to keep it 101. I don't trust him right now. I do not believe him. I cannot take his word as solid. I need to see change in his actions. That is the only way I am going to be able to fully believe that this young man has learned from his mistakes and he will not make said mistakes again.
I don't trust nobody.
Tony, I love that
That's
hotkey.
me.
That's dope.
That's me. Here's the problem with that. Like, it's just like this is a situation for me the same as like you here. Like, I remember when who's the guy from the Eagles got in trouble for a racial slur. You know what I'm talking about? The guy from the Eagles, he was somewhere at a concert. He said it used a racial slur. He got in trouble.
No.
The guy that the Bucks had out here, Myers Leonard, got in trouble on what was that, Twitch? Or whatever.
He was on the gaming,
gaming
site.
thing.
Yeah.
Why did you say the Eagles?
He used it as this is a different guy.
Oh, okay. I was just
it was
confused.
a different
You're
guy
jumping
from
to
the
another
Eagles.
one. I got you.
Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm just saying there's a
I got
couple
you.
examples where
I got
guys
you.
using racial slurs. Like you're in the public, you do something bad, right? Obviously, first thing you're gonna be forced to apologize. You're gonna act like and like you say, you don't trust them. Like, how am I gonna trust you? I'm not around you. I see you in public. I know that you're probably not gonna do anything stupid again in public. And in Josh's case, that's why I was so shocked by this. Like, you just did it again. Like, that would be like Myers Leonard just doing it again a month later. Like, who does that? Right? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to be around you enough to know if you have actually changed. You might be sorry you got busted and you got in trouble for doing it, but are you going to change? I don't know. Right? I don't know.
I think he's showing us exactly who he is as a person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the issue, Tori, you brought
What
the
about
right
the
issue
people
up.
saying that he didn't break any law?
And he didn't, but he broke his contract.
He didn't,
and that's
he
what
didn't
it's
break
about.
any laws, but he embarrassed the league, which you cannot do. You can you got to remember at the end of the day, it's about money. First of all, you're getting $230 million from the NBA, right? You're getting money from the NBA, but the NBA also gets to use you for money. You're one of their star headline players. They can't promote you now. You just took some money out of their pocket. Like you look back on the league back in the day, with they had no money in the league back then because they had a bunch of thugs, people fighting. There's fights off it, people having drug issues. They weren't getting any endorsements. Companies were not buying into the NBA. It got big when like Magic came. He's got charisma. He's
Michael,
marketable.
mhm.
Michael, Larry, these guys became marketable.
Yes.
Right. So suddenly, companies want to get behind. We want to partner with the league.
Mhm.
This is why the NBA's mad. Like, we know Ja didn't do anything illegal, but don't nobody want to partner with that. They
And
don't
not
want to
just
be
the
associated
NBA,
with it.
but Nike on all these other brands who are representing John.
Right.
He's representing in
Right.
turn.
It's going to be a problem for his wallet at the end of the day, and money for the league. This is not the image they want out there.
And also, I'm sorry, but I said it before, Tori, and I'll say it again. He's perpetuating a certain stigma in the black community, and I don't appreciate it. I really don't. Like, I'm actually really upset at all the men defending him and saying it's okay, saying he did nothing illegal. You know what he did was wrong. You know what he
Right.
represents, who he represents, and the people who look up to him. It's not right. Plain and simple. You know that. Y'all know that.
And it's also not right for other people who are trying to go after him. And I heard J.J. Redick say the same thing today. He was talking
Oh, my
about
God, that
people
irritated
talking
me.
about he was talking about people who are mad at Ja, but you ain't mad at the politicians who acting a fool out there. You ain't mad at them.
On that
they
note,
doing crazy stuff. You mad at Ja? What's up?
Thank
Wait,
you,
who
thank
you want to
you.
be held more accountable?
Thank you, Mel, for that pop culture
An NBA
report.
player or your elected officials? Which one?
Looking at you, Ron DeSantis. Sorry.
All right, thank you for that pop culture report. Thank you, Tony Smith, for
Marjorie
stopping
Green
in.
Taylor.
We'll be back. We're going to open up the lines. Oh, no, we got guests. We got a guest. We got a guest, Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
Shut up, Mel.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I've helped over 250 families search for their loved ones, so I fully understand the trauma and stress this causes families. This is why it's important for me to help and protect families during their moment of crisis. So be sure to tune into the Tory Lowe Missing Person Special on Thursday, May 25th, as I speak with organizations and families about how we can better advocate for those searching for a loved one. So again, tap into the award-winning Tory Lowe Missing Person Special on May 25th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 1017 The Truth.
It's 1017 The Truth, Sherwin Hughes, and I'm excited about our Truth Financial Empowerment Partnership with Northwestern Mutual. They're a national leader in financial services, and every month I'll be speaking with a representative from Northwestern Mutual about investing, building generational wealth, and how to best reach financial freedom. So tune into The Truth with me, Sherwin Hughes, on Friday, May 19th at 11 a.m. as I speak with Northwestern Mutual advisors Erica Wright and J.B. Bell, who will give a breakdown on the first steps that you need to take toward investing in your financial future.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings. especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Join the livest radio show in Milwaukee, Nothing But the Truth with Melanie Ricks. Listen every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hi everyone, I'm Melanie Ricks with your news update. Police say 2 people were injured, one seriously, in a double shooting near 90th and Hampton just before 8 p.m. Tuesday evening. Authorities say the first victim, a Milwaukee man, was taken to an area hospital with life-threatening injuries. A second victim, also a Milwaukee man, arrived at an area hospital for treatments of non-fatal injuries. Milwaukee police continue to seek unknown suspects. Anyone with information is asked to contact MPD at 414-935-7360. To remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS. MKE Food Truck Fest will be rolling back into town this summer following 2 consecutive years of sold-out events. The festival, sponsored by Milwaukee World Festival Inc. and On Milwaukee, will take place at the Henry Meyer Festival Park on Saturday, July 22nd. More than 20 food trucks are slated to participate in this year's fest, which will also feature mobile karaoke, music, lawn games, and a new Super VIP ticket option. The varied lineup of vendors will appease a wide range of palates, with offerings including tacos, pizza, cheese curds, funnel cakes, popsicles, and other frozen treats, as well as vegan fare, gluten-free options, and an assortment of global cuisines. Some participating vendors include Twisted Plants, Jamaican, Say Cheese, Tots on the Street, and more. Additional participants will be announced at a later date.
This was the news update on 101.7 The Truth. The Tori Lowe Show continues next here on the new 101.7 The Truth.
We need each other.
That's facts.
I need my sisters. I need my brothers out here.
A coward dies 1,000 deaths, and for all the bootlickers, may you die 1,001.
The place for the realest conversations.
Tori Lowe want all the action, or you want all the smoke? Oh, this thing, I'm with all that smoke too, man.
I didn't see Ron Johnson. He trash. Chisholm is trash. How the hell you here to help us and your kids are dying in the street?
I understand that this is Milwaukee and everyone believes that if someone say something, it's snitching. It's not.
I don't care if it's the pastor. If you see the pastor ain't acting right, you check that fool. Where's the results?
Talking topics that need to be highlighted and discussed in our communities.
Would you trade places with a black person?
Sure, no, I would not.
Have you ever said the N-word? Come on, be the truth. We on the truth.
Unfiltered and unfazed. This is the Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
The reason I believe the racism is getting worse is because whites know that they will be outnumbered in about 20 to 21 years. They're going to be outnumbered.
Hey, Tori, man. How are you doing, brother? I'm actually from India. We brown people can totally relate with you. Sometimes it's like, did that just happen to me? We have to not let the government mind us either.
That cop ain't never been brought to the public because he ain't normal, and he may not even exist no more.
Say no more. Release the video.
You know, you keep on doing what you're doing, man. You're going to take over this talk radio, man. Just keep on focusing on what you're focusing on. I wish you a lot of love.
God bless you, brother.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Tori Lowe.
Justice Wisconsin, the truth. The most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM. The movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. It's Tori Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4, we about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice, we want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Tori Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready.
1017 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show, live from American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. The movement continues. The marathon continues right here on 1017 The Truth. Hey, how you doing, Truth Nation? Hey, look, we got guests in the building. Thank you for joining me this Wednesday, May 17, 2023. We got Gina Barton.
Hey.
In the building. USA Today journalist. Award-winning journalist.
Yeah, you could say that.
Award-winning. And I thank you for coming in because we've been knowing each other for years when it comes to dealing with the community. And you would always do the stories, the tough stories on I started getting familiar with you around Derek Williams.
Yeah, and that was 15 years ago.
I thought that was
something.
Yeah, that was
a while back.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
And I think that during Derek Williams, you were one of the reporters that was actually writing.
I was the first one who got the video and made it public.
Right.
Yeah.
Writing about what was going on with in custody deaths at a time where it wasn't as popular like 2020.
Right, exactly. It was way before a lot of the stuff you're seeing now.
And so we're out here on the front lines fighting with these in custody deaths. And I'm getting calls from you, hey, Tory, like, I'm like, who is this white lady? That's right, but then I found out, hey, you were actually doing a great job of covering these stories. And I'm sure, did you get any pushback back then from writing about these in custody deaths?
I mean,
James Perry, Derek Williams, Corey Stingley,
I mean, obviously I got pushback from the police, a lot of pushback from the police. And I mean, it's the same thing you say, like, what's this white lady doing writing about this?
Right.
I kind of got that from the other side too. But I felt like, I always feel like it's important that people who have power are held accountable when they don't use it right. And, when I got that call about Derek Williams and talked to his mom about what had happened, like, I just could not believe it.
Right.
And then, unfortunately, over time, the more of these stories you hear, the more you believe it, Now
it's all over the place.
Yeah.
But back then, it wasn't being covered like that. It was almost like this was going on. And I think that at the time, we were talking about how much it was costing the city. Yep. Things like that. You were definitely putting out a lot of information about. Actually, you did a great job of following up too.
Yeah, thanks.
On these stories as well. But now it's popular. Now you see one every day or twice a day.
And like, it's terrible that it keeps happening, but I gotta hope that like by keeping it out there in the public, something's gonna change.
Do you think the justice reform idea will ever take place?
I think we're closer now than we were 20 years ago. Do I think it'll ever happen? I don't know.
It just seems like
but
it's still happening, Tyree Nichols was the one that let me know that, hey, it looked like we're starting all over again.
Yeah, totally.
That looked like Rodney King almost.
I feel like if I look too much at the big picture, I get depressed, because like you and me, we don't have the power to change like the whole system. But like if we can get one story out there, we can get rid of one bad cop, we can get justice for one family.
Mm-hmm.
I consider that time well spent.
Now, you've been doing a lot with the missing.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're doing a lot of great work also on Alexis Patterson.
Right.
Can you explain what's going on with that?
Yeah. So about a year ago, we got this idea at USA Today, where I work now, about how everybody's heard of missing white woman syndrome, right? Like whenever a blonde, blue-eyed white girl, teenager woman disappears, the media is all over the story. But when a child of color disappears, like, they don't care so much.
I definitely know what that is.
Yeah.
What that is like.
Yeah. And so, and obviously, I think obviously that's something with the police too, right? They're going to look a lot harder for a white girl than they are for a black girl.
Right.
And so my editors and I decided, like, not only do we need to be holding the police accountable for this kind of stuff, but that we needed to look at our own selves too as journalists and say, like, how are we contributing to the problem, and why don't we cover the stories of the missing Black kids and other kids of color the way we do white kids? And I mean, obviously part of it is that if you're a white person, that's kind of what you're used to. But you know, that's an excuse. Like, we have to really think about how equitable are we being in our coverage. So started working on a project about that. And so it talks about, like, the police shortcomings when it comes to missing kids of color, but also media shortcomings. And then at the same time, we all know Alexis Patterson disappeared in 2002. And that's a story that's always been, like, really near and dear to my heart. Alexis disappeared on a Friday, and I moved to Milwaukee and started working at the Journal-Sentinel that next Monday. So that was one of the first stories that I ever worked on. And so it's kind of stuck with me. And so, you know, when we started working on this story about missing kids, like, she is the one that I always think about around that topic.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about the missing and how it's covered, we talk about how white children kind of get that alarming ideal of, we got to find her right now.
Yeah.
And many of the Black children, oh, you got to wait 24 hours, all this extra stuff. They're not automatically critically missing.
Right.
I mean, because I deal with it. I mean, that's how I came about.
Yeah.
Because they would go and tell the police station, nothing would happen. Next thing you know, I'm getting families coming to me. So that's how I got involved, because of the lack.
Well, and you found some kids that they didn't even look for,
kids,
you know?
Right.
I mean, that's just...
Hey, but you know, I'm in the streets. So
yeah.
I got a theory.
Okay.
That somebody out here in the streets know what happened.
Right.
I just got to find that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I always had that social media presence, to where, thank God that I built my social media presence on helping people.
Right.
So a lot of people indirectly was watching. So many times I would post and somebody would be like, I saw her.
Right.
Or I know where they at, or I may know what's something. And so it just went from there. And I was blessed to be able to get involved in those situations a long time ago. I started early.
Yeah. And I mean, those families were blessed too that you were doing that, obviously.
Right.
And I think that I think you hit on something really important. You know, social media is supposed to be like the great equalizer, right? Like the mainstream press, when we don't do things, people in the community can get out on social media. But that was something else we found in our reporting, is that in a lot of cases, it really does depend on who is sharing that post.
Right.
So if it's somebody like you who's got that following, who people in the community are paying attention to, then it'll go viral and you'll get the information. But it happens too, like in big national stories, or like when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children puts out a poster of a missing kid on their Facebook, the white kids still get shared more.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a really hard problem.
And it's one thing when we talk about missing Black children that I felt that it wasn't a popular ideal in the mainstream at first.
Right.
I think now it's starting to gain some traction.
Yeah.
But it seems like it gives a feeling that these kids are not important.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to this one national advocate, and she said something really interesting, which was that, like, when a white girl or teenager disappears, it's like this damsel in distress. Like, oh, everybody has to help this poor girl out in the cruel world. How do we get her back home? And when it's a black girl who disappears, or even a black boy or young man, it's like, oh, they're out on the streets. That's what they do. They'll be fine. And it's that stereotype, you know, fills in everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
It could get tricky.
Yeah.
It could get tricky, but I thank God for journalists like yourself that are willing to dig deeper.
Yeah.
Many times. That's why I'm cool with you, because, you know, I know that you will dig deeper, and you have.
I mean, I really feel like that's my whole job. You know, like, my whole job is to get stories out there that the police or the elected officials or the people in power don't want the community to know about. And I feel like in the situation I'm in, working for the media, I kind of have the power, or they look at me differently because of, my race, my position, all that stuff. And so it's really hard for them to ignore me. Whereas a lot of these families, you probably got this too, a lot of the families that I work with, the stories I write about, the police just ignore them. And then when I call,
now
they start talking.
It becomes high profile.
Yeah.
Kind of like the loudest will get the grease.
Exactly.
Hey, look, when we come back, Gina, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
I want to ask you a question. Why should black people trust the mainstream media with their stories?
Okay. You want me to answer that now? Or
No,
when
we come back.
All right.
I want to ask
All right.
because many times they give their stories on it and it's not what they think it is when they see it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it when we get back. Truth Nation. Stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
Don't touch that dial. The Tory Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the new 1017 The Truth's Business Spotlight this Thursday at 3:57 p.m. between The Tory Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. I will be joined by Ashley Lucas, VP and Business Lending Product Manager at Associated Bank. Ashley and I will discuss how your business can leverage unique and creative promotional deals into large monetary gains and a bigger customer base. So again, tune into the Business Spotlight with Associated Bank this Thursday at 3:57 p.m. right here on the new 1017 The Truth.
This is your Financial Empowerment Minute on the new 1017 The Truth, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Because I got people who want to live off of $10,000 a month. And then I got people who say 4 is enough, right? Whatever it is, we want to make sure that, again, you have a plan and you know what it's going to take to get there. What resources do you have? Is it a 401k? Do you have a pension? Do you have stocks or outside money? How are we going to fund it, right? Because that's a big thing too. A lot of people think, okay, well, I'm just going to dump money into my 401k and build it as long as I can and then I'll be set. But taking money out and distributing it the right way is 10 times more important than accumulating it, because you got to think about the taxes. You got to think about a lot of other things.
Tune into The Truth every month for our financial empowerment interviews with Northwestern Mutual.
Attention, all investors, business leaders, and finance enthusiasts. Get ready for Secure Futures' 15th Annual Investment Conference. The conference is being held on May 23rd at the Wisconsin Center from 2 to 4:30 p.m. with a networking reception to follow. Prepare for a jam-packed afternoon of expert insights from some of the industry's best and brightest, including strategies for building wealth in the black community that you don't want to miss. Purchase your tickets now at securefutures.org.
On the Rocks Premium Cocktails offer modern twists on the classic cocktails. Developed by award-winning mixologists, the On the Rocks cocktails combine premium spirits and natural ingredients. Wherever you are, On the Rocks Premium Cocktails give you the convenience of bar-quality cocktails created with brands that you know and trust, like the Effin' Cosmopolitan and Hornitos Margarita. Pour over ice and enjoy. Please drink responsibly. On the Rocks ready-to-serve cocktails, 20 to 35% alcohol by volume.
If you're a motorist of the four-wheel variety, please watch out for those of us in Wisconsin who do their traveling on 2 wheels. Adjust your mirrors to reduce your blind spots. Allow motorcyclists a full lane width. Use your turn signal when merging or changing lanes. And allow more following distance between you and the motorcycle. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve 0 preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. 0 in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
More of The Tory Lowe Show is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This ain't what you want. Project This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
101, 7 The Truth, Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the 1 and 2s. I got guests, Gina Barton from USA Today, journalist, and you're working on a missing persons article right now.
Right, a big project about the problems with investigations when kids of color go missing.
And when we talk about journalism and serious issues in our community, a lot of times, a lot of families of tragedy, they sometimes they give their stories to these media outlets and they get disappointed because they go with the mainstream narrative. They go with the police report.
Right.
Or they go with idealisms that may not be true to their understanding. How do you navigate through that?
I mean, I think the important thing, and like you and I were just talking about this over the break, the important thing is like people like to talk about the media like it's just this one big thing, but really the media is composed of a bunch of different individual people. And so, you know, when you and I met each other, like you knew that I was going to do the work because I had done the work.
Right. I saw the work. Actually, your articles helped me.
Okay, good.
It helped me to push the point. And many times you can use the media as a way to shed light and expose unfairness.
Right. So I think it's important, you know, if you're a family who's going through something or who needs help, it's important that you find an individual reporter who has done stories that you respect. Or,
Right.
you know, maybe someone you know respects that person, you know, because you could call USA Today and you could get any one of, you know, 100 or more reporters and like we don't all think the same. And so I would just recommend like looking for other articles that were done in a way that you think was good and was true to, you know, that family's perspective and see if you can get a hold of that person.
Is there a method to contacting reporters? Because people contact me all the time.
Yeah.
But they come through Instagram, Facebook, social media.
Yeah.
Even the news reporters contact me that way. Like most people contact me that way.
Right.
But let's say I got an issue and I need an investigative reporter.
Yeah.
Somebody that's going to look through the situation. I mean, I'm sure you get a ton of people saying, hey,
I do. Yeah.
this is what's, how do you choose what to print?
So I think there are a couple of things. So all of our contact information, our email and our phone numbers are on the website. So you can email, text, call, whatever. I think the most important thing is since we get so many tips, like it's important to talk about like your individual story, but also how that points to a larger problem, if that makes sense. So, you know, if like back in the day with Derek Williams, he died in police custody, and obviously that was a tragedy and it was terrible for his family, but it was also a wider issue for the city of Milwaukee in terms of how are the police treating the citizens in the city. And so if, you know, or, you know, like with missing kids, like one story about one missing kid is important, but if you can broaden that out to an issue that more people, that affects more people, that more people care about, that's usually what my editors are looking for. Now, I'm not saying that I can't do just a story about one individual case or one individual family, because I often do that. So if you're going to pitch me that kind of story, it's just important that you're straight with me about why you want the story told, what you hope to get out of it, and like what do you have that can help me verify what you're saying, because that's another thing that the editors want. Like they don't, because people can lie,
Right.
you know,
And most people always, to get your attention, they may exaggerate some points. Yeah.
And so we would need like documents or video or photos or, you know, other people to back up what you said. Something that we can, where I can go to my editor and I can say like, look, this isn't just one person who told me this, you know, 6 people saw this, or somebody recorded it on their cell phone, or, you know, they recorded a phone conversation or just something, so that when I go to that person they're complaining about, that public official, that police officer or whatever, like I had one recently with in the Alexis Patterson story, as you know, the police and the FBI still to this day are treating Miss Ayanna Patterson as a suspect in her daughter's disappearance. And so she had recorded a phone conversation that she had with an FBI agent and played that for me. And so I called the FBI to say, like, what's up with this? And the guy was like, well, I can't confirm or deny that a conversation happened. And I was like,
oh, wow.
I was like, well, no, like, I know the conversation happened. I have heard the recording of the conversation. Whereas if I didn't have that and she had just said, well, I talked to them and here's what they said, that would be a lot easier
they
for
can
them.
deflect it.
Yeah, it'd be easier for them to say, well, she's just making that up. That conversation never happened.
How important it is to do a story where you have certain ingredients, because liability, and this is why I tell people, like, most media outlets, they'll take the police report and use it as something as Bible, the narratives. And many times when an officer, let's say someone dies in police custody, and the officer writes it up, he's not going to say, hey, I killed this person.
I beat this guy to death. Yeah, he's not going to say that.
So what I'm saying is these officers, many times the killer or the person that committed the act gets to set the narrative.
Right.
And then this is what goes across the country.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I think there's a couple of interesting points that you raised there. The first one is that, you know, under federal law, like, we can, as journalists, take what's in a police report and report it. And even if it's wrong, we can't get in trouble for that.
Liability.
Yeah. So, but on the other hand, like, our best defense from liability is the truth. So the truth is your best defense. And so if I'm able to prove something, that's why what I was talking about with, like, recordings or documents or pictures.
Text messages.
Yeah. Like, if I'm able to prove that what I reported is true, whether the police or the mayor or the president likes it or not, doesn't matter. I'm allowed to do it because we have a free press in this country.
And your voice is not truth.
Right.
Okay, let's say something happens to me. I don't have no text messages. I don't have any proof, but I'm telling you what happened.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
That's generally not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep trying to tell people, you cannot just come and talk.
Yeah.
Documentation beats conversation.
Right. And I mean, even if it's only something that you have documented, you know, like in a lot of these sexual assault and rape cases that are coming up now, it's like if...
Like Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. And some of the accusations against Trump and, you know, some of these other things. Like if you're sexually assaulted and then you call your best friend and say, hey, this guy just assaulted me. Or if you write it in your diary, this guy just assaulted me. You know, well, you can still go back then 5 years later and say, here's my diary from that day.
So is your diary proof that?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's proof, but it is definitely helpful in terms of, you know, and I mean, yeah, you could probably fake that, but you know, I found that most people don't. So, like, for example, if you had a diary entry and you called your mom that night and you called your best friend and your roommate saw you crying in the bathroom.
That's enough.
Yeah.
To kind of shape an idea. Oh,
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I say I'm looking for evidence or, you know, verification, it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you have a police report that says what actually happened. You know, you have to have people who can back you up or, you know, circumstances that can back you up.
Hey, Truth Nation. I'm in the studio with Gina Barden, USA Today award-winning journalist. And it's a pleasure to have you in here today.
Yeah, it's
because we go back a long time.
A very long time.
Yeah, and the only reason I like that Gina is in the studio with me is because I knew the articles that you wrote were as balanced and fair on the situation as it was going to get.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's the goal.
And I knew that. Like, so over the years, I always knew, I would many times we would have conversations and you would definitely look into it deeper than most.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so that's why it's just through your work is why I have that respect for you, because it was a lot of situations back then that weren't popular to discuss.
Well, and it goes both ways because, there are a lot of people in this community that I think would not have spoken to me if I just called them or knocked on their door. But by you making that introduction and saying, like, yeah, this is somebody you can trust.
Right.
I was able to get their stories out there.
And I would not give anybody to anybody that I didn't have that trust with. It's very few. It was a few of them. It was a handful.
Yeah.
Maybe less than 5, But I think that we got the job done.
I think so. Yeah. We definitely we brought it into the public consciousness.
Right. And now I just got a question for you. How is media changing? Because with the firing of Tucker Carlson,
which I never thought would happen.
Right. And the firing of Don Lemon.
Right.
Is the media shifting? What is it shifting to? Because these are two huge left and right personalities that are gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the pendulum is swinging, like back in the old days, like the media was all supposed to be like objective and like just the facts and like both sides of every story. And then it kind of went to
the money started coming in, the political dollars.
Yeah. And so then it's like you can go here if you're on the right and you want to hear what they have to say. You can go here if you're on the left and you want to hear what they have to say. And people actually started arguing about what the actual facts are.
Right.
And to me, that's just crazy because a fact is a fact. Like there's no such thing as alternative facts. Like either it happened or it didn't. And so I think now in the type of media that I work for, we're kind of trying to get back to what actually happened and put the facts out there and then let people decide how they feel about it. And like there are some things that there are legitimately two sides to, and there are some things that just aren't.
I thought that now it's about the agenda. Now it's just agenda media.
A lot of it.
Does it fit the agenda of the left or the right?
Yeah.
And they're going to make it fit the agenda because it's money in the agenda. The agenda comes with election dollars. They spend $500 million on these elections.
Yeah.
Where's the money going to? Many times it's going to the media outlets, right?
And like I got to say that at least at the places that I have worked for, like the advertisers are separate from the newsroom. And like I'm telling you the truth, Tori, I have never had an editor tell me you must write this, Gina. And like if they did, I would tell them no, so it's good that they didn't because I would have gotten fired. So, I mean, yeah, like on a large scale, it is a business and like they're always talking about like how do we get profitable and how do we whatever.
Right.
But I think the difference is that we're trying to figure out a way to get profitable based on giving the people what they want. Not the politicians.
Being fair and balanced.
Yeah. So is this news that's going to affect your life? And Tori, if you read online and you like what I write, are you going to get a subscription? And we hope you are.
Right.
Because that's how we can keep doing that.
Look, I'm going to run the break, and when we come back, since you said that, I got a question.
Okay.
How is AI changing the business?
That's a terrifying question.
Truth Nation, when we come back, we're going to have another segment talking about journalism and AI with Gina. Stay locked in right here on Tori Lowe.
The Tori Lowe Show returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. It's time to see what's poppin' with Melanie Ricks.
What's up, everybody? It's Melanie Ricks, and it's time to see what's poppin' with today's Pop Culture Report. All right, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like it's finally time to set the record straight about Jamie Foxx's health. Beloved triple threat Jamie Foxx made headlines last month when his daughter announced on social media that her father was looking for prayers. She wanted good vibes sent their way. She said that there was something serious going on. Now, naturally, we all freaked out, okay? You don't really hear too often about medical scares when it comes to Jamie Foxx, but any medical scare at all, whether it's small or large, it's going to sound the alarm. The issue with this one We don't know if it's medium. We don't know if it's extra large, if it's extra small. We have no idea. There hasn't been too much information given. Now, I will admit, it's not our business, in theory, to know exactly what's going on with this man's health. It's giving HIPAA. However, if you tell us one thing, tell us everything. Don't just give us a little nugget and ask for all of these prayers and well wishes, but then don't update us on what exactly we're praying for and what exactly we're wishing upon him. Who knows what is what? What I do know is that it was announced this week that Jamie and his daughter Corinne, the same one who sounded that initial alarm, are set to co-host a brand new show that will debut in 2024. So I'm a little confused. The timing of this announcement is a little odd for me. Just to be clear, I am not doubting that he was in the hospital, that he did need our prayers and well wishes. But again, if you're going to give us a little bit, give us all of it. Tell us everything that is going on, because he is a public figure and you made this a public matter. I hope it's not a publicity stunt to promote this new game show. I would like to think that we're not playing with people's health like that in the year 2023, but at this point, it could be really anything. Regardless, I'm still praying for you, Jamie, and I can't wait to see you bless our screens in 2024. But please don't ever scare us like that again. Thank you.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for my students.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Greg Matzik. Packers rookies back in Green Bay. The first block of organized team activities scheduled to begin May 22nd. Rookies and vets will mix for the first time. Rookies including first-round pick Lucas Van Ness.
As soon as you guys get to see him, up close and personal out on the grass, big man that's explosive. So I think that's always a great place to start.
Packers defensive coordinator Joe Barry, who also admits he has no idea who the starting safety alongside Darnell Savage will be. In the NBA, the Heat and Celtics meet up in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. San Antonio wins the NBA's annual draft lottery. And the Brewers wind up a 3-game series with the Cardinals tonight in St. Louis. Coverage gets underway at 6:20 WTMJ. At 6:10, Corbin Burns on the mound tonight for the Brewers. This sports update presented by Associated Bank, proudly supporting our hometown teams. Member FDIC.
This is the Tori Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I came in with my ex like Selena, the flex, bumping Justin Bieber, the fever ain't left. She know what she need, all she blessed, giving you my best. Got my heart on my sleeve with a knife.
1017 The Truth, Tori Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the 1 and 2s. We in the studio with Gina Barton, USA Today journalist, award-winning journalist, investigative journalist. And I just got this question now. And I've been talking about it on my show, about AI. And even the people that made AI was like, I'm finna get out of this because
it's scary.
It's a dark side.
Yeah.
To it. But when it comes to like journalism and print, how is this going to affect news?
I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? I think the most important thing is that there have to be some kind of guidelines or rules for journalists about, just like we're not allowed to make stuff up. There have to be some rules that say, like, you can't have ChatGPT write something and then say that you wrote it yourself. I think that's the first step. And like at my paper at USA Today, they just sent out a memo last week about like, if you're going to use AI, you can only use it to find sources or to like get a story idea going, and you have to like put a note on the article exactly how you used it, that kind of thing. And I know that you're going to say, well, people won't do that, but I think that's the first step. And then I think that really the next step is that the one thing that like journalists and reporters can do that AI can't do is we can go out there in the streets and talk to people.
Right. Have that investigative journalism is all about contact.
Yeah.
Having that personal contact. You got to get out there.
Right.
But that's only one form of journalism.
I mean, I think beat reporting is like that too.
Mhm.
You know, like if you're going to cover city government, you know, you got to go out
talk
there
to the
and-
politicians.
Yeah, you got to talk to the politicians. You got to go to the common council meetings. You got to see what they're talking about and then find the people that are affected by the laws they're making. And, you know, so I think the best journalism in any, whether it's investigative or any kind of beat reporting, entertainment reporting, you go out there and talk to people. Like a photographer I knew way back when used to say, you need to get out there and smell the people.
Hey, I can feel that. I can understand.
You got to get up close and personal with people.
Right.
You know, and AI can never do that. ChatGPT can't do that. They can't, you know, hug you when your loved one's been shot by a cop. They,
Right.
You know, they can't listen to you
Well,
tell your
they
story.
say they listening.
They might be.
I'm just messing with you.
They might be like hearing in a computer way,
Right.
but they're not empathizing and they're not feeling your pain and your frustration.
It doesn't have the compassion.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's what's up. I think we got some people on the talk to text lines. I think we got somebody on the lines
All right.
that got a question for you. What do we have on the lines? Al, you on the new 101.7 The Truth. You got a question for Gina. Al. Well, Al, I think you better call back.
Hey, hi.
Oh, I was
There
gonna
we
say.
Can you hear me? Sorry. Okay. Hey, I'm going to start out with my perception of journalism. I always thought journalism was professional gossip. It can either be good or bad because some things are true and some things aren't. But getting back to your statement about alternative facts, I think that alternative facts are those things that are left out of the story, the questions not asked, the answers not put into the story. And I would love to have a news program where the public gets to question the journalists, because then there's an opportunity not to leave things out of the story to create a narrative. And I think right now people are trying to figure out what's true and not true. And we do, I think the media is in competition with journalism is in competition with social media, because that's where we get a lot of our stories and opinions and ideas these days. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question, and it reminded me of a funny story. I got called for jury duty one time, and one of the defense attorney was a guy I had written about. And so when it was his chance to question prospective jurors, he was like, Ms. Barton, I get to ask you the questions for a change. And I was like, oh man,
wow.
come on.
Is it safe to say you didn't make that jury
No,
pool?
I did not. But I mean, I understand like how you put in context alternative facts. But I mean, my view of alternative facts are lies, right? Like things that we don't ask that doesn't make it into the story. Those also might be truths or might be facts. And I can just say for myself that when I am working on a story, and I think Tori can back me up on this, the last question I always ask is, is there anything that I didn't ask that I should have? Anything you want to tell me that I didn't ask you about? And a lot of times, that's where I get the best, most interesting, most important information, because like I can't read your mind. And so I can only ask what I want to know. And that's the way that I can really get to that other information. But again, I personally am always happy to answer people's questions. I mean, I'm here answering Tori's questions now. Sometimes I go on Reddit and do those AMAs and like answer questions from people. I think it's just important that like the media is not just this huge monster. Like we're made up of a bunch of different individual people who have different like skills and different beliefs, and I'm just trying to do my best.
Right. Hey.
Well, here's one of the problems I have with national media is when they all begin to repeat the same thing. And I go, there's no one in that pool of journalists to ask a different, unique question about the story. Yeah. That's when I get concerned.
Yeah. And I mean, again, I can only speak for myself and for some of the people I know. But like, to me, you're never going to find me in that scrum of people asking the same question of the same people. I'm going to be going down the block and see who's over there. I'm going to be the one who's going to try to like, ambush the police chief as he's walking to his car at the end of the day to ask him something that no one else has asked him. And I mean, I think back in the day when I first started in this business 20 years ago, there was that competition, right? If somebody had that story, you had to have it too, or you had to have it first. And I think now the best journalism is exactly what you're talking about. It's the people who go outside that box and who try to tell you a story you've never heard before.
Hey.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Al. Hey, Al from Sherman Park. Thank you for tapping in. What do we have on the talk to text lines? I see.
Now I ain't going to call this person out, but somebody said they used AI to get them into college.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm worried that my son who's in high school is using it to write his term papers.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Hey, look, I mean, and that's why I say, like, I remember when emails came out, they was like, this is going to be the death of the post office. And it did take a large chunk of the business off of the post office, but we still use the post office.
Well, but at the same time, it's totally changed the way we do our jobs, right? Like it used to, and I think that's like it is part of the problem too, is like it used to be that if somebody had a story idea that they wanted to pitch to a reporter, they would have to call us, right? Or they'd have to write a letter, or they'd have to come into the office. And now they can just send you an email, and they send mass emails that have nothing to do with anything.
All the documentation and everything. Like, they just throw it at me.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's just completely different. Then I also get these PR people who are sending me emails about, how to clean your bathroom and just stuff that's like completely irrelevant to what I do because they just send it to every like email address they
got
have.
You in the mass email.
Yeah.
Look, when we come back, I want to get your final thoughts about journalism, investigative journalism, and how can people contact you? And what you got coming up?
Okay.
All right, Truth Nation. I'm in the studio with Gina Barton, USA Today journalist, award-winning journalist. Stay locked in right here on Tori Lowe.
More of The Tori Lowe Show is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth this Saturday at 11 for another episode of Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Entrepreneurship Connection Show powered by Molson Coors. I'll be joined by representatives from the African American Chamber of Commerce in Wisconsin and Associated Bank, where we discuss the financial and technical needs of small business in Milwaukee. Again, that's the Greater Milwaukee Urban League's Entrepreneurship Connection Show powered by Molson Coors this Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
All Brewers games are on sale now.
including a Memorial Day weekend showdown with the Giants. Thursday, May 25th through Sunday, the 28th. Start the long weekend right at Aloha Friday on the 26th and get a Brewers Hawaiian shirt with a special ticket package. Then take home a Christian Yelich patriotic jersey giveaway on Saturday, the 27th, presented by Chevrolet. Get your seats at Brewers.com.
If you're a motorist of the four-wheel variety, please watch out for those of us in Wisconsin who do their traveling on two wheels. Adjust your mirrors to reduce your blind spots. Allow motorcyclists a full lane width. Use your turn signal when merging or changing lanes. And allow more following distance between you and the motorcycle. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
Truth Nation. It's Tory Lowe from 1 to 4. And I want you to download the 1017 The Truth app. Hey, because you know it's amazing. Wow. Hey, that's not bad, Sherwin. That's not bad, all right? But T-Lo, show Sherwin Hughes how it's really done. Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe from 1 to 4. And Sherwin's impression may have been trash, but he's right. You can hear all our best interviews, Panthers basketball, and me bringing all the smoke by downloading the Truth app today in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And why should they download the app, Benjamin? You want to know why, T-Lo? You want to know why they should download the 101.7 The Truth app? Because it's amazing.
All your favorite interviews and best moments live in one place. Download the new 1017 The Truth app now.
I love the Truth app. I like being able to go back and listen to old taping.
Milwaukee Black Talk. 1017 The Truth. You are listening to The Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This speech is my recital. I think it's very vital to rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. Here we go. It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky.
101.7 The Truth. Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z in the house on the 1 and 2s. In studio with Gina Barton, USA Today journalist, award-winning journalist. When I say award-winning journalist, let them know what that. I'm not getting you. I want you to tell them. Add a little splat on that.
So what they say in journalism is the Pulitzer is like an Oscar, and the Polk is like a Golden Globe. And so for my investigation into the death of Derek Williams in Milwaukee police custody, that's the one I won the Polk Award for.
And I was in those stories, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that.
Hey, look, I'm proud of you for getting out there, rolling up your sleeves and writing some of the truths about what's going on in our neighborhoods. And what do you want people to know about journalism? And what you do?
Yeah, so, investigative reporting, our job is to, we always say, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. My job is not to do what the police or the government or the people in power want me to do. My job is to find out what they don't want me to know and then tell the whole world about it. And I especially want to be able to do that for people who don't have a way to do that themselves. For all those people who are out there screaming and no one's listening to them, I want to be able to use my position and my privilege to help them get their story and their truth out and change the world. That's my goal.
And what do you got coming up?
So the project that we've been talking about on missing kids of color, I did take a deep dive into the Alexis Patterson case, and so I've got a podcast going now, and I'm gonna put the link on your Facebook, Tory.
Okay, that's what's up.
And you could also get it online. It's usatoday.com/unsolved. I spent years talking with Alexis's mother, Ayanna. I talked to a bunch of the police that worked on the case. And for the first time, my colleagues at the Journal Sentinel and I were able to get access to the entire police file in Alexis's case.
Oh, wow.
So we've got almost 4,000 pages of police reports that nobody has ever seen before, that I'm able to report about, and I'm able to see some of the things that they did to her family, some of the mistakes that they made, some of the reasons why maybe they haven't found her yet. And I've also like gotten to explore some other theories that were kind of out there on the internet that were not in the police reports,
right,
about what might have happened to her. So it's 8 episodes. The third one dropped today. So, but you can get them anytime, obviously, because it's a podcast. And I'm really hoping that we're going to figure out what happened to her.
Right. Do you think she's still alive?
I hope so. I don't know. I think it's possible that she was kidnapped and trafficked. I know the police think she's no longer alive, but again, like you can't ever say that they're 100% correct about these things. But I do think that somebody out in this community, somebody out in Milwaukee has to know something.
I agree.
You know, I mean, Laurent Bourgeois has passed away now. Maybe if he knew something, maybe he told somebody. Or, you know, maybe somebody else has information that they just never came forward with before. And I feel like someday they're going to say it.
Eventually.
I hope so.
Now, how could people contact you if they want to shoot you something?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, just my regular name, Gina Barton. I'm on Twitter at Writer Barton. Or if you go to usatoday.com/unsolved and click on my name, all my contact information's there if you want to email me, text me, whatever.
All right. Hey, look, I was excited when I knew you was coming on the show today.
Me
and
too.
I appreciate you for everything you do and everything you're doing and everything you're going to do. And I thank you for helping me a lot earlier on when I was out here advocating. And now look where we at now.
Yeah.
You on the Tori Lowe Show.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been great.
All right. Thank you for coming in. Truth Nation, when we come back, we're going to open up the lines. Stay locked in right here on Tori Lowe.
Thank you, Truth Nation. Your passion and support has helped make Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association best radio show in the state of Wisconsin.
When did this word become so powerful that a person would go to jail, injure, or take another person's life? When did we give this word and other people power over us to ruin our lives?
We do this all for you, Milwaukee. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Tune in to the award-winning 1017 The Truth this Saturday at 10 o'clock for another episode of Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance, hosted by me, Dr. Ken Harris, and Fred Johnson, Vice President and Wisconsin State Manager for Erie Insurance. We will discuss the agency of being an insurance agent. Tune in this Saturday. Diversity and Excellence powered by Erie Insurance, 10 a.m. right here on the new 1017 The Truth.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control.
Yikes!
So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year.
At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay. Smart.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melanie Ricks with your news update. Police say 2 people were injured, one seriously, in a double shooting near 90th and Hampton just before 8 p.m. Tuesday evening. Authorities say the first victim, a Milwaukee man, was taken to an area hospital with life-threatening injuries. A second victim, also a Milwaukee man, arrived at an area hospital for treatments of non-fatal injuries. Milwaukee police continue to seek unknown suspects. Anyone with information is asked to contact MPD at 414-935-7360. To remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 414-224-TIPS. MKE Food Truck Fest will be rolling back into town this summer following 2 consecutive years of sold-out events. The festival, sponsored by Milwaukee World Festival Inc. and On Milwaukee, will take place at the Henry Meyer Festival Park on Saturday, July 22nd. More than 20 food trucks are slated to participate in this year's fest, which will also feature mobile karaoke, music, lawn games, and a new Super VIP ticket option. The varied lineup of vendors will appease a wide range of palates, with offerings including tacos, pizza, cheese curds, funnel cakes, popsicles, and other frozen treats, as well as vegan fare, gluten-free options, and an assortment of global cuisines. Some participating vendors include Twisted Plants, Jamaican, Say Cheese, Tots on the Street, and more. Additional participants will be announced at a later date.
This was the news update on 101.7 The Truth. The Tori Lowe Show continues next here on the new 101.7 The Truth.
We need each other.
That's facts.
I need my sisters. I need my brothers out here.
A coward dies 1,000 deaths, and for all the bootlickers, may you die 1,001.
The place for the realest conversations.
Tori Lowe want all the action, or you want all the smoke? Oh, this nigga. I'm with all that smoke too, man.
I didn't see Ron Johnson. He trash. Chisholm is trash. How the hell you here to help us and your kids are dying in the street?
I understand that this is Milwaukee and everyone believes that if someone say something, it's snitching. It's not.
I don't care if it's the pastor. If you see the pastor ain't acting right, you check that fool. Where's the results?
Talking topics that need to be highlighted and discussed in our communities.
Would you trade places with a black person?
Yeah, sure. No, I would not.
Have you ever said the N-word? Come on, be the truth. We on the truth.
Unfiltered and unfazed. This is the Tori Lowe Show on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
The reason I believe the racism is getting worse is because whites know that they will be outnumbered in about 20, 21 years. They're going to be outnumbered.
Hey, Tori, man. How are you doing, brother? I'm actually from India. We brown people can totally relate with you. Sometimes it's like, did that just happen to me?
We have to not let the government mind us either.
That cop ain't never been brought to the public because he ain't normal, and he may not even exist no more.
Say no more. Release the video.
You know, you keep on doing what you're doing, man. You're going to take over this talk radio, man. Just keep on focusing on what you're focusing on. I wish you a lot of love.
God bless you, brother.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Tori Lowe.
Justice, Wisconsin, the truth. The most requested advocate in the state. 101.7 FM. The movement continues. Yeah. Milwaukee, stand up. It's Tori Lowe, the truth. From 1 to 4, we about that action, so tap in and let's go. We want that justice, we want all the smoke. From Monday through Friday, trying to bring the city hope. Yeah. Tori Lowe from 1 to 4, Monday through Friday, let's go. We bout that action from the block, and we ready, let's go. Tap in, and it ain't no holding back. We ready.
1017 The Truth. Tori Lowe Show, live from American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue. And I'm here for the action.
And nothing but that action.
And I want all the smoke.
Who got the smoke today?
Salute to my brothers and sisters on the front lines. The movement continues.
The marathon continues.
All right, DJ Brother Z.
Powerful show already.
Hey, look. Salute to Gina Barton for stopping through. USA Today journalist and Pulitzer winner. Powerful. You know what? The thing is, when we talk about the things that's going on in our communities, because off the top of the hour, we talked about the 3 people that was accused of beating a Milwaukee boy who used his grandma's credit card to order food. Let's get that story back up, because for those who are just now tuning in, a lot of people felt some type of way. I've seen a lot of people that wanted to comment on this situation. Let's go to the Fox 6 News article.
So severely he needed medical attention. 2 defendants are already in court. Jason Calvi live and says Milwaukee police still looking for a third, Jason?
Yeah, that's right, Ted. One of the family members is still on the loose. I need to warn you, the details of this case are disturbing.
State of Wisconsin versus Linda Robin.
3 Milwaukee adults face these charges.
You're charged with physical abuse of a child as party to a crime.
Prosecutors say it happened on Milwaukee's north side earlier in May. A young boy used his grandmother's credit card to order food. After she found out, the criminal complaint says a series of family members beat the boy. Investigators allege his teenage sister hit him with a metal purse strap. Then they say the grandmother's daughters, 34-year-old Linda Robinson and 44-year-old Althedria Robinson, hit the boy with a belt. The next day, prosecutors allege the grandmother's son, 30-year-old Keithan Robinson, punched the boy. Child abuse pediatricians at the Child Advocacy Center found the boy had bruises all over his body. The 2 women were already in court, and a Milwaukee County Court Commissioner found probable cause.
I mean, you have no criminal history.
She released both women on a signature bond.
Your lack of a criminal history. I will set a signature bond in this case. I find it's appropriate based on the totality of the circumstances.
The 3rd defendant, Keithan, wasn't in court. The court commissioner ordered an arrest warrant.
He killed my uncle right here in cold blood.
Back in 2021, 2 of the defendants spoke to Fox 6 about their uncle, who was killed in a hit and run crossing a Milwaukee road.
If convicted, each of these 3 family members could face up to 6 years behind bars. Live in Milwaukee.
All right. So now a lot of people have a lot of different approaches to this story, but the fact that the child had to go to the hospital, whoever took this child to the hospital knew that CPS was going to get involved, because this is what they're saying. They said that they found bruises on his arms, legs, back, butt, chest, and forehead, several with abrasions. Now, you know, if you take a child up into the hospital after that type of beating, you know that them people's gonna be knocking at your door, because you can't leave marks on kids nowadays, right? So the child was in such a bad of a shape that the child had to go to the hospital. So I'm gonna open up the lines for Truth Nation. Could this have been resolved another way? We're going to head to the lines. 833-212-1017. Talk to text. 833-212-1017. I'm gonna take a couple calls on this. Nicole, you're on the new 1017 The Truth. Tap in.
Hey, good afternoon, Tori, and thank you so much for taking my call. And
God
I
bless
am
you.
so happy that, same to you. And I'm so happy you circled back on this, because whenever the discussion come up about whipping kids, child rearing, I always got to jump in, right? Because oftentimes, and I got to say this for full transparency, I was never whipped. My mom was raised in the South, and she said they were whipped all the time for everything. So she absolutely refused to whip her kids. And I'm going to tell you this, my mama never hit me, but I still had the fear of God in her. She me from her. I was still just as afraid
What
of
was
my
some of the
mom when it came
strategies?
to certain stuff.
What were some of the
So my
strategies she used to keep you disciplined?
I'm going to tell you, my mom had the ability, the way that she talked to us. And that's one thing that I could say that was beautiful about my mama. My mama always, she always was big on us. Let's talk about this. Let me point out to you, and I want you to understand why you did it wrong so you don't have to do it again. I need you to understand it. And sometimes just by hitting a kid, you're not teaching, because I guess that was her strategy too. Her strategy, and it was for us, for me, for her and my dad. For us, it was more so like disappointing them. I was more concerned with disappointing them than really, doing something and then getting a whipping. It was all about, I know that I knew better. And I'm not going to say that I didn't do stuff. We all did stuff. I didn't get caught doing certain things, and I still did stuff. And I didn't do it just because I was, I wasn't going to get a whooping. I did stuff because I was a kid. But I also knew when I did something that I didn't think I was going to get in trouble for, my trouble was my mama talked to you and she'll break you down with words. And that was powerful, because what that did for us, it caused for us to be able to think and have conversations and really reflect on our behaviors. And I'm going to tell you this, none of us went to jail, and in our mind.
And you had the father in the house as well, right?
Well, no, my mom and dad were married, but they were separated.
Okay.
So I had the dad. He would come. My dad, even though they wasn't, he didn't live with us. My dad was always over. It was one of those situations. So we were still raised by him. We just wasn't raised in the same house, if that makes sense.
Did that factor in any to have the father in the house?
I mean, the fact that was it important for our behavior? I think, the fact that just because he didn't wake up with us, we always had his presence.
Okay.
Dad, he would show up at school. My dad,
he was
and
active.
this is a whole nother conversation. My dad and my mom, because she never remarried, my boyfriend ended up being friends, because my daddy said his kids were there. He was coming over regardless who was there or not. And so they're going to have to accept that.
Hey.
So my daddy from Mississippi, and that's how that went. So I didn't grow up with that
Welcome
type
to
of
the
drama.
family.
Yeah. So my dad was that type of man. But the fact that my dad also came from Mississippi, and he was whipped as well, he kind of followed my mom's lead. He was like, we're not going to whoop our kids. We're going to find a different way of disciplining and showing them how to do things. And so later on, but I'm be honest with you, Tori, when I had my own kids, and I get it, I'm like, man, you get frustrated. And sometimes when you have kids doing stuff, and the whole purpose initially, right, to whipping a kid is to change the behavior or to correct it, right? And so in my mind, even with my own children, I'm like, realistically, if whipping truly really works, how come kids get whipped for more than one time for the same thing? So I'm always against that. It has to be a different way of really changing kids' behaviors, because the last thing you want to do is make a child think that the only way that I'm going to correct anything, or the only way that I know that something is wrong, is if somebody hit me for it. Right. So a lot of that a lot of that stems from slavery. And it took me a long time, even though I wasn't with Tori, it took me a long time to get into this mindset as an adult, because I ended up teaching parenting classes, and I dealt with parents who had lost custody of their children. So we use parenting as a way of doing supervised visitations. Right.
Right.
And when people talk about like different strategies, a lot of those strategies were European strategies that I also think like, okay, kids are different. Kids are not going to be able, you can't do a timeout. That's not for our kid. You got to be careful with how we stereotype our children. And what thing we don't want to put out there is that the only way that black kids, because we're talking about black kids, right? Only way black kids are going to mind, and coming from Mississippi, mind if you hit them. And I think
that came from slavery. I think that a lot of that came from where, the abuse that was, put on a lot of blacks, even now, if you don't listen, we're going to beat you down.
Exactly. So the thing with with the child in this situation, you know, and I feel sad because, Tori, it's not like this baby took the card. And when we say take a card, remember, everything is electronic. So it could have already been in the app. We don't know how he actually got it unless, you know, I didn't hear the whole story unless they physically say he went and stole it.
Right.
But he bought food. He didn't go buy Roblox. He didn't go order headphones. He bought food. So I think there's a deeper situation with this because you got a child that said, I'm hungry. And I'm ordering food. He got beat for ordering food and not. So that's two situations for me. The fact that he was beaten, right? But then the fact they beat him for food. So it's like, get into the psyche of those parents. Because a lot of times when we act off emotions, and I'll hang up because I know you got other callers. Right. But the thing is, even with whipping, right? A lot of times when parents whip, you mad when you do it. So who are you really? What are you really solving by that? You know, you're getting your anger and frustration out, but are you really correcting the behavior of the kid? And that's the issue we have with our black kids. We need to find other strategies to correct their behaviors because if we don't, and we haven't, we get what we got. We get what we got, and it has to change. And
a lot of adults, they have bagged up issues of anger, and then when they beat the child, a lot of that extra anger comes out on the child.
What do they say? When I get you, I'm going all the way back. What does all the way back mean? It could be something you did 15 months ago or something I'm still trying to resolve internally. So we got to be careful when we say we was whipped, because I can't say that because I wasn't, you know, but we was whipped and it didn't do nothing. And because I was whipped, this or that. You can't equate that to that.
What the Bible say, spare the rod, spoil the child. What about those people that say that?
Who wrote that Bible?
Shakespeare. All right. All right, Nicole.
Who taught that to us? Thank you, Tori.
Hey, thank you for tapping in. Hey, is discipline the way? When we come back, Truth Nation, we're going to stay on the lines. The lines got that smoke. Stay locked in right here on Tori Lowe.
Don't touch that dial. The Tori Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune in to Truth in the Afternoon with me, Dr. Ken Harris. We will honor our law enforcement heroes all week long during National Law Enforcement Week. All this week, I'll speak with Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman, Milwaukee County Sheriff Dr. Danita Ball, and retired officers to discuss the challenges and the changes they face, the sacrifices they make, and the impact they'll have on our community. Tune in, Truth in the Afternoon, all week long, powerful conversations, Law Enforcement Week, on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
This week on Wheel of Fortune.
How you doing?
Oh, jolly wally, Pat.
Well, ain't that hunky-dory?
There's a lot to be happy about.
You plan to win a lot of money here today?
Oh, my God. I'm supposed to be here.
Don't forget the $10,000 shopping spree giveaways.
You're going to do this,
I am
aren't you?
going for it.
And if things spin their way,
Be nice to me, Will.
you can win at home, too.
All right, Pat, let's go.
Well, you're happy, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
We'll keep the happiness going.
Let the good times roll.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 6:30 on CBS 58.
Hi, I'm Natalie Shepard.
And I'm Jessup Ricebeck from the CBS 58 News at 10.
We hear it all the time from viewers. Television news is too negative.
That's why we're trying something different at CBS 58. In our newscasts, we focus on what's important to Southeast Wisconsin, and that's not necessarily crime.
We want you to know the great things happening in our hometowns as well.
What's going to help solve problems here and uplift our viewers.
We are your hometown station, and that's the type of news we're going to bring to you.
Join us every night at 10 on the CBS 58 News.
Are you looking for an opportunity to better the Milwaukee community? Do you want to develop your skills for a career or job? City Year Milwaukee is recruiting for its 14th cohort of AmeriCorps members. We are hiring young adults ages 18 to 25 to serve our amazing scholars in Milwaukee Public Schools. This opportunity allows you to serve your community and gain professional development, which will allow you to enter the workforce, your next educational journey, or even stay with us for a second year of service. Visit cityyear.org to connect with our local recruiters and learn how to apply.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org.
You are listening to The Tori Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
She bout to fly me no winds, cat. She bout to take me no winds, cat. Can't even see me on winds, cat. She bout to fly no winds, cat. She bout to fly me no way out of here. She bout to fly, can't even see me on way out of here. I'm too far in the sky. Hermes ash for the dark, my ash. So pretty, look better than Cassie. Puffin' on Zooters and she calling me daddy. Walking on turn it up and not gassing. Came out the gutter, they ain't never meet a swagger. Security bag, got a bitch, I'm a bagger. Turning it up, gotta make sure she good. Got 2 million.
Tune into The Truth in the afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris all week as he features National Law Enforcement Week. Dr. Ken will speak to black law enforcement about challenges they face in their careers and the impact they desire to have in the community. So join us all week long to gain a deeper understanding on the critical work they do by tuning in to The Truth in the afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris for Law Enforcement Week on 1017 The Truth. Also, tune in to Sherwin Hughes for his financial empowerment interview with Northwestern Mutual. This Friday, Sherwin will be joined by Northwestern Mutual financial advisors Erica Wright and JB Bell, where they will break down first steps you can take to start investing in your financial future. Call in at 833-212-1017 for free financial advice this Friday at 11 a.m. on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Also, tune into The Truth this Saturday at noon for another episode of More Than a Movement, powered by Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin. Carrie Noni will highlight some of the most powerful conversations she's had with health justice advocates who fight for equality and rights for us all. Again, that's More Than a Movement, powered by Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin this Saturday at noon on 1017 The Truth. Hey, all right, we having a conversation about discipline. We talking about disciplining these kids. You know, I'm gonna tell you right now, they need the discipline. You know, but abuse and discipline is two different things. Abuse and discipline is two different things. Let's get that straight. Discipline teaches, abuse is neglect. Let's get that out there. But it's a story that's going around where a family neglected a child. I guess I would say this was kind of neglect. The child ended up in the hospital for taking grandma's credit card and ordering food. Now, I know the grandma was upset because she didn't know he had the card. She probably called the family members and told them what happened, and 3 different family members ended up coming over, doing 3 different styles of addressing the issue. But we're going to head to the lines. Winky, you on the new 1017 The Truth, tap in.
I like how you said that, brother. That was kind of humorous. He got 3 different whoopings, they disciplined him in 3 different ways. Well, if they didn't kill him, did they put him in critical condition, or they just whooped him real well?
Well, I guess he got abused all over his body. I read where they found all of the bruises and abrasions.
How old was it?
They don't say. They said it's just maybe the grandchild, probably.
Okay, well, I don't know what
they don't say. They don't say. They just said that he was old enough to use a credit card. So what is that, 10, 11?
Yeah, he knew how to do it. So I don't know. That's the same way with the other little boy that wanted the game and then killed his mom.
Right.
He knew, these kids are pretty advanced and stuff because they watch us. They watch everything we do. However, I think, like you said, discipline disciplining a child but not abusing a child. Child needs work. One thing about it is that most of these single parent women, they abuse the child mentally. You know, domestic violence in a young male starts very early with the mama if she's in a single parent, sometimes with a double parent. She's always calling him out his name, hitting him in his chest, trying to make him hard, calling him all kind of punks and bees and everything. She disciplines him that way. So when he gets 16 years old, he's not taking no more abuse from a woman, and he becomes that physical abuser towards women because a woman been abusing him since he was a little bitty boy. And she was trying to make him wimp and make him obey and call him all kind of names and hitting him and trying to toughen him up. Okay, but men don't even toughen up their boys that way. They just give them a order of masculinity, and we are to follow that. You know, but women think hitting him, talking tough to him, that hardens him up. The lady that just called in, the social worker lady, she's nothing more than a kidnapper, a legal kidnapper, man, that works for that system, that will get your babies taken, that will make sure that your babies get out that house if you whooping them with some type of corporal punishment. She said, well, why you got to whoop them if the kid be doing the same? Most kids don't continuously do the same thing. Now, you might have a small child that'll run in the street or cross the street, but when we get into the teenagers, most of the time that comes from staying out at night, not getting home on time, and they become rebellious at that point because they want, they get to call it a while, man. You know, we all had to call it a while. We didn't want to come in when the street lights said come in. We was, we might come in there and hit it up out the window or something, or invite our company in the basement, with the black light posters and the music turned down low so moms couldn't hear us, So those are rebellious acts mostly with teenagers or folk that are exiting adolescenthood and going into young adulthood. So that lady right there will call the social service on you. She's a part of that kidnapping system that I'm so much against. That's a human trafficking source. That is our pipeline to prison while they trying to play like it's the schools. Because once you take a little kid, because he's been spanked and put him in a system, he automatically starts to become institutionalized. He understands what a social worker is. He understands what count time is. He must be counted. He must be in his designated area. This is institutionalizing a child. So when he get big, he ain't scared of no jail. And she said, well, this is what we got now. Most of what we got now are the kids that didn't get no whooping. They run in the streets right now. They didn't get no whooping because their mamas were scared. The social service was coming, and this is what we get. Hey. That's right. The kid. I'm out. See.
Hey, all right. I'm gonna tell you this. Wink. That was a lot. A lot of times when we talk about discipline, most men, we can use our voice. It hurts the child when we talk to them in a certain way. Now, single women may, take certain approaches to dealing with discipline, but it just helps when we can have a well-rounded approach to discipline. It's got to be consistent because the point of discipline is to learn the lesson. That's it. Abuse is always going to end up in neglect. Miss Shaq, you're on the new 101.7 The Truth. Tap in.
Good afternoon, King Tory.
How you doing,
and
Queen?
Truth Nation. I am hanging in there, maintaining. I had to call in, and I had to wait until I get my emotions in control, because some people, get misinterpreted by my passion. And I just want to say that, it's a really sad time, this case where three adults come over, at three different times. But I'm going to say this. First of all, just like violence and disobedience behavior, misbehaving, is groomed. A child doesn't come here that way. You have to also train that child from an infant to be the adult that you want that child to be. And having said that, that grandmother made a huge mistake. She made a huge freaking mistake because she could have handled that herself by talking to her grandchild and letting that grandchild know and feel her disappointment and her pain and what that child did. She is the reason why it went the wrong way. Now, I'm going to say this, too. We're in a new day and age. We can't keep saying this is slavery. Ignorance is a choice today. I understand in generational ignorance and the educational system that keeps us oppressed intellectually, economically, and socially. But now it's a new day and a new time. With this new technology going rampant and taking us into a new century and a new era of humanity, that journalist that you had on here, that's a forward-thinking person. That's a forward-thinking, intelligent person that's ready to take on, that's brave enough to take on all the opposition that we face in our community. And I applaud her and you for your relationship, the experience, and for having her on your show today. Because that is an example of taking a bold step and looking at us and deciding, I don't like the way I'm living. I'm going to change the way I'm thinking, the way I'm living, my pain, whatever it is. You got help today. You ain't got to take this out this way. There's a better way of thinking and doing and living. Rethink, reimagine, and redefine who you are and then be about it. Thank you, Tori.
Hey, thank you for tapping in, Miss Shaq. Hey, look, it's about that time.
One call, that's all.
Hey, now it's your chance to be entered in to win our One Call, That's All 5K giveaway. That's right. You'll have a chance to win $5,000. All you got to do is be caller number 10 right now and be entered in to win our One Call, That's All 5K giveaway. And if you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, call Gruber Law Offices now. One call, that's all. Be caller number 10 right now and get this money. For official contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com. Call now, 833-212-1017.
Don't touch that dial. The Tori Lowe Show will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Age of Reason took place over 200 years ago. It was a time of amazing scientific and philosophical progress all over the world. Truth, reason, and tolerance thrived and even shaped the Constitution of the United States of America, the foundation of our democracy. But now those building blocks of America, of democracy, are under attack. In just 2 decades, big tech social media billionaires have allowed their platforms to roll back truth, facts, and tolerance, and fill the screens in our homes and in our pockets with lies and hate. Online disinformation and hate affect everything, everyone, everywhere. It splits us apart, hurts our children, polarizes our societies, and is literally leading to violence and terror in our communities. Lies and hate everywhere are a threat to all people, anywhere. Be a part of the change. Help defend the future of our democracy. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
We didn't know what to expect. We were just left in a hotel.
My mom was doing drugs in the house.
Tay and Brianna spent years of their childhood in homes that weren't safe. They were placed in foster care and longed for a permanent, loving home.
I didn't know what my future was.
I wouldn't speak to anyone. I was afraid of everything.
With help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Brianna and Tay were adopted and now feel excited about their futures.
I'm studying to be a chef, and I really want to travel the world.
I'm going to be a mechanic, and I can focus on my career.
Right now, in the United States, there are more than 100,000 children in foster care, just like Brianna and Tay, who need a family now. Learn how you can help at davethomasfoundation.org.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes!
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Bloomberg Black Business Beat is presented by Erie Insurance, providing the protection you need and the service you expect, all at a great price.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Google hit a major diversity goal and ahead of schedule. The tech giant made a commitment in 2020 to boost diversity in leadership by 30% by 2025. And according to its latest annual diversity report, it's already hit that benchmark. So what's driving Google's diversity success? Bloomberg Equality reporter Kelsey Butler says Google took a two-pronged approach. First, focusing on casting a wider recruiting net, and then revamping onboarding practices to help keep employees for longer.
It's widening the funnel by doubling down on partnerships that they had with HBCUs, for example, and then also doubling down on new programs, for example, for new Latino hires to connect with executives elsewhere in the firm.
Google's approach is helping send more diverse voices up the corporate ladder. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner. I'm the Black Business Beat.
It's the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Lately, I just wanna show up and body some, yeah. Always been a little mathematician. Lately, this cash I'm getting got me losing count of these bags. I've been moving too fast. Hard times don't last. Remember when cops are rats talking out too fast? Boy, you ain't with a badge. All my life, they be trying to keep me down. All this time, never thought I'd make it out. No. All my life, they be trying to keep me down. I decided I had to finish.
101's Having the Truth. Tory Lowe Show. Congratulations to Felix. You'll be entered in to win our One Call That's All 5K giveaway. Hey, look for official rules, contest rules. Visit 1017thetruth.com. And remember, if you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, give Group of Law Officers a call. One Call That's All. Hey, joining me on the lines is Justice Wisconsin advocate and author Elizabeth Brown. How you doing, Queen?
Hey, King, salute. Hey, that song fire. J. Cole and Lil Durk did their thing.
Hey, I've been bumping that. I've been bumping that since it came out.
Hey, fire. Man, Corey. Hey, look here. Excellent topics as always. The journalist that you had on, salute to her.
Gina.
But I'm just gonna salute to Gina. But for the black community, I just need y'all to understand that again, the reason that journalists are here, especially the majority of our life, they never told our truth. You know, and Tori, me and you done had several experiences, especially with the journalism in the city of Milwaukee, on how they'll chop, cut, and paste what you say, and then still spin a narrative.
Right.
On top of the fact, I would just advise all black individuals, if you decide to give your story, to have a recording of your own as well. Because several times have me and Tori been depicted as something else when the meetings that we set up and the conversations that we had was about our people, and they flipped it and made it what they wanted to, but being that we had the recording, they had to retract half of the lies that they put out. So trust no one, question everyone, and documentation beats conversation. If you do that, sit down with an individual, because the bottom line is they still need to perpetuate a certain ideology out here. And no matter what, why, when Al asks, how every station or every journalist is speaking about the same thing because they all are a conglomerate. And all of them trying to push the same narrative. And if you ain't out here and you really want your truth to be heard, the majority of the time, you have to find a Tory Lowe.
Yeah,
you have to find an individual that wants the truth and not the narrative.
And when I talk about when Gina came on, I mean, for years, she was. I know some of her stories that she printed got her death threats because she was working to get deeper into what was going on. And that's where my respect for her came out of, because she was actually able to get in there. But that's rare. That's few and far between.
It's very rare because, again, we also have to understand that there's a process. Before they print, it have to go to certain individuals, because we done had stories in the city of Milwaukee printed and then retracted due to the fact that it went against the establishment. So, again, watch who you talk to and make sure that you vet the individuals that you give your story to, because, see, right now, we on the flip side of turning what was upside down, right side up. And now these individuals are scrambling, trying to make themselves prevalent, especially in our community, because a lot of people don't have that gateway to come in our community. The majority of the bootlickers and the code switches who sold us out as well also help those individuals push these certain narratives. And right now, the doors coming into our community to get our stories, again, as far and in between. And half of the individuals that do get Pulitzer Prizes, I know for a fact that Tory Lowe was behind those stories, because a lot of black folks didn't trust these reporters and things that was coming in. So a lot of their stories that got them awards, those came from Tory Lowe. So let's put that out there too. Just saying.
Well, the thing is, when we talk about things in our neighborhoods, sometimes they can't get no deeper in the neighborhood than what we let them. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, some of these people don't even live in our neighborhood, so they have to depend on us to give them or tell them or direct them. And many times along the way, as I was coming through the city and dealing with the situations, even in the black media here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the established black media would not print anything I was doing in the community.
Fact.
I was in the national media. I was in the national media, and the black media in Milwaukee did not print any.
Wouldn't touch it.
Wouldn't touch anything I was doing because it was exposing what was going on with the establishment. And that's the truth. Like, I don't even think I was in the black media 3 times in 13 years with anything. I mean, when they was talking about me, it was like Seville Smith. It was a lot of people in there. It wasn't anything, none of the missing stuff, none of the stuff that I was doing to try to stop the violence, none of that was in the black media. My Facebook was more relevant than the black media in the city of Milwaukee.
In the city of Milwaukee, the black media is ran by the white media. Again, like, we have to understand what we're dealing with.
No, they ran by the establishment dollars. They get their money from the establishment.
Which is white dollars.
Yeah.
You are correct.
The establishment
they have to meet a certain narrative. Period. So again, all ideas that go against the ideas that they want out here is silenced. You understand? But again, there's ways around that. Again, the Tory Lowe Show. If you want your truth to be heard, this is where you come. Because right now, like I said, we turning things right side up. And right side up is the fact that our truth, if we're going to tell our story, because the stories that happen in our community every day that perpetuated on these mainstream medias and things like that, making other individuals millions and billions. We only get to be seen and our story be heard, and then somebody pimp it out, because it never ends with results. So that's the reality, you know. But the bottom line is, always protect yourself no matter who you're talking to. Make sure that you record the conversations and things like that so you're covered, because everybody has an agenda. And you need to make sure that their agenda don't get you caught up.
Hey, look, I'll tell you this. Throughout my years of dealing with the black community, I'm most disappointed in some of the black media publications that pump trash to the community and try to make everything seem hunky-dory and don't want to get into the real root causes of what's happening in our neighborhoods. But yet, on Election Day, these publications is pushing liberal agendas on our people and not really digging into the stories or following up with the families and none of that stuff. So I was disappointed as a person that pay attention to media. I was very disappointed in the black media in the city of Milwaukee.
Again, I'm disappointed in all the media, and again, I have to state, the facts. The majority.
Well, I'll say this:
individuals-
it ain't their responsibility. They doing what they doing. I'm talking about the people that's supposed to represent us.
Again, how they eating?
Yeah, but
The same who ain't
exactly.
representing us, because me and you done been in the room.
Right.
You understand?
I'm just saying.
There is a white handler at the end of the day, though. We got to
Right.
make sure that we keep it. We got to make sure we keep it broad and understand the dynamic.
And I'm keeping it broad, but
saying?
at the
Like-
same time, I used to go up there and they used to tell me I couldn't come on the black platforms because I was blackballed. I was blackballed by the black media. And it was journalists. Hold on. It was journalists that wrote stories about what I was doing in the communities. And when they went to turn the stories into the black newspapers, they was told that they could not print that story.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
By black people.
Point proven. Facts. Who are working for white people.
Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
So
Like,
it establishes,
again,
right.
they-
Yeah.
Hey. This is the good old boy system, and like I said, white supremacy ain't got nothing to do with color. It's a mindset and the control. And this is what I'm telling black folks, and this is what me and you've been preaching since the beginning. Learn to advocate for yourself. Right now, mainstream media ain't even mainstream no more because individuals coming to smaller grassroots, real black grassroots, because again, they pimp that out too. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother word that's been pimped out. But the real information is from those that's out here front line that's really listening to people and truly helping people. And like I said, it don't even matter. Skin folk ain't never been kinfolk. And especially in the city of Milwaukee, because the majority of the individuals that they so-called leading the community, that misled the community, ain't never did nothing for us and representing somebody else.
Exactly. I agree. And the thing is, what's more powerful nowadays is that now we're starting to become the media. I'm the media right now. I'm up in the rooms getting the awards. I'm award-winning media. I'm getting the same awards they getting. So it took a long time to get here, but we here, and now we got to make sure that our story is being told. Look, when we come back, Elizabeth Brown, I want to get your final thoughts. Truth Nation, stay locked in right here on Tory Lowe.
The Tory Lowe Show returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Fred, why choose Erie Insurance?
The passion that we put around your personal development and your growth. We pay for you to go to college.
Wait. What?
Yes, we will help pay for you to go to college. So you get your foot in the door with us, we will help advance your career.
Okay.
We will help you get the designations, like I mentioned. It's even easier now. I'm doing it from the outset with our diverse communities to help them get these designations and licenses before you even show up inside the doors of Erie Insurance.
Visit erieinsurance.com for more information.
Truth Nation, it's your boy Tory Lowe, and I've helped over 250 families search for their loved ones, so I fully understand the trauma and stress this causes families. This is why it's important for me to help and protect families during their moment of crisis. So be sure to tune into the Tory Lowe Missing Person Special on Thursday, May 25th, as I speak with organizations and families about how we can better advocate for those searching for a loved one. So again, tap into the award-winning Tory Lowe Missing Person Special on May 25th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 1017 The Truth.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the new 1017 The Truth. Here is Denise Thomas with her truth.
The term diversity, equity, and inclusion has been at the forefront of many employers over the past 20 years, and even more so amplified since the release of the murder of George Floyd's video went viral. And for many of us that work in predominantly white environments, as members of Black or brown communities or traditionally marginalized communities, it's hard to understand exactly how I fit, how I adopt, and how I demonstrate the components of diversity, equity, inclusion. And more importantly, how am I on the receiving end? This is where communication and open dialogue is so important regarding this subject matter. It cannot and should be not treated as an extracurricular activity. It is a vital component in any business's business growth objectives, revenue generation, and more importantly, hiring and retaining a diverse pipeline of talented individuals. Have the conversations with your leader. Have the conversations with your direct reports. Have the conversations with people who make decisions on hiring, on culture, and promoting within. This is important. It will not go away. And we need to make sure that we're having the conversation so that everyone, regardless of how they identify, is embraced and feels a sense of belonging and knows that even throughout challenges or setbacks, they belong and they can win. That is the power. That is the truth. Use your voice. It is valuable and it deserves to be heard. That's a part of equity and inclusivity demonstrated within the workplace.
This has been Truth Takes on the new 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth Be Told with DT and Telly weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. This is the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Seven The Truth, Tory Lowe Show. DJ Brother Z on the 1 and 2s. Joining me on the lines, Justice Wisconsin advocate and author Elizabeth Brown. I want to get your final thoughts on the show today, Queen.
I mean, powerful. As far as the young boy who bought food, I mean, people, it was food. You know what I'm saying? Like, was there supposed to be some discipline? Of course there was. Again, you can take your child for a regular checkup because this system is set up to separate black families, point blank and period. And they asking about old scars that your child has, and they've taken so many children just without any cause or any reason. So I'm not surprised that they showed up. However, it's time for us to start communicating properly. And I think we all lack that. And it dates back to slavery on how to communicate because I learned the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Like as an adult, physically feeling like you had to physically put your hands on somebody to get your point across. In reality, again, over years of learning, and we learn by the mistakes that we make, you understand to properly communicate with an individual. When you get violent, you lose. And right now, everybody's suffering. That family, because they didn't say anything about his mother. Where was his mother? The grandmother had custody. Right. So, again, they just said that child was hungry, and there shouldn't have been a beating. Whooping, I believe in, discipline. Certain kids, you have to do certain things. I did whoop my daughter. I did get whooped. There was no such thing as a beating, and she never did the same thing twice. So with that being said, outside of that, like you stated, it's a big difference between beating and disciplining. But at the same time, don't just discipline a child without having that proper communication. But a lot of us adults don't know how to properly communicate. We dealing with a country with a system that uses violence. The police beat us in the street. Okay, I disciplined my daughter because I didn't want the police beating her and killing her in the street. You understand? So, again, I think that's per family. Was this situation out of hand? Yes, it was. And I pray for that kid because I would have never whooped him for ordering food. I can see if it was a game or something. However, they took it too far. 3 times was too much and made, things work out however they need be for them because I thought that was a little excessive. However, I also understand that we are under mad pressure, and especially in the black community when it comes to money, funds, food, housing, etc. So with that being said, salute King. I send up prayers for that family and that baby. And as we move forward, each one teach 10, and we're going to win in the end.
Hey, look, I mean, I like I said, we going to have to make sure that communication is key. Discipline is to teach. Abuse is neglect. Simple as that. Hey, did we learn anything from that?
Luke King.
All right. I thank you for being on the front lines, Queen. Thank you.
One love.
Hey, God bless you. All right, DJ Brother Z.
All right, Tory Love 114. Let's get it.
Hey, Truth Nation, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Join me tomorrow for another powerful conversation. You don't want to miss the conversation tomorrow because, hey,
we got that smoke.
It's going to be a lot of smoke on the lines. Dr. Ken Harris up next.
Don't let nobody play me. If you are my homeboy, you never have